How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Data here, and welcome back to episode number 11 of our Vancouver Canucks franchise mode here on NHL 24. Moving into the year number 3 postseason here in 2026. Before we get started, this will be our final upload on the channel before Christmas Day. So just want to quickly take a moment to wish you all a wonderful Merry Christmas and a joyous holiday season. May be filled with lots of health, happiness, and being surrounded by those who you love most. So be sure to take some time, rest, relax, and don't forget the reason for the season as well. Headed into this episode, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming off of a shaky end to year number 3. We went 3-5-2 in our final 10, ending off with a 41-34-7 record. At the halfway point, we were on pace for 46 wins. We ended with 41 because we did some goaltending experimentation that involved a Thatcher Demko trade. I'll get to that in a moment. But we ended with the wild card spot, finishing 15th in the NHL, 41 wins. We had the third best power play at 23.5, and our penalty kill did fall off at 81%, very close to the bottom actually. So we need to think about fixing the penalty kill, but in general, a lot of positives to take from year number 3. Quinn Hughes, 91 points, likely a Norris Trophy for the captain. Kuzmenko, Pedersen, and Miller, our first line, all in that point per game plus range. Even David Perron was a huge plus concerning his age, overall, and potential. We were looking at trading him maybe. He ends up with 57 points, so félicitations David, merci beaucoup. The disappointments start around here now, as Brock Besser, yes, he scored 30 goals, and Sam Reinhart, yes, he scored 56 points as well. They both scored 56 points, but Besser and Reinhart were just black holes defensively here, as no one on our team really had a bad plus-minus. Some of the third-pair defensemen, Danault a -3, but no one even in the double digits when it came to negative plus-minuses. Meanwhile, you look at Besser and Reinhart just standing out like sore thumbs with -24 and -22 here for Reinhart and Besser respectively. I have no idea how this could even happen when no one else is even close. So it was ridiculous to see that they were having such struggles, especially Reinhart, who's supposed to be in that 70-ish point range. Besser, 30 goals, will take it, but it was very disappointing to see that from Besser and Reinhart. Hronek, 52 points was good. Ratu, 43, we were happy to see that. Danault, 36 was a disappointment. Willander, 16 goals and 27 points in his sophomore season. That was great. Moving down, we also made a trade. Aside from the Thatcher Demko deal that we got to in a moment, Josh Manson was picked up at the trade deadline. We got him in the Thatcher Demko trade, not quite at the deadline, but not too long before it in the Thatcher Demko deal with the Avalanche. Manson played 27 games with us and scored 3 assists and was a +1. So considering that the third pair defense had, I think they were in the double digits at one point for negative plus-minus. So to see Manson end with a +1, we'll take that. Aside from that, when it came to the goaltending, Thatcher Demko was traded out to the Colorado Avalanche. We gave him some experimentation. We tried to give him every chance that we could. In the end, we traded him out as he had an .890 save percentage. He settled down. He was consistent, but his level of consistency was below our standards. He was a consistent .890 goaltender with over 3.5 goals against. We traded him away to the Avalanche. His numbers got much better. Of course they did, but still not a winning record with the Avalanche. So in that deal, we picked up Callum Ritchie. I believe there were some draft picks involved as well, and we also got Josh Manson. So I take that as a victory considering how low his trade value was at this point. We were rolling with Casey DeSmith and Archer Silovs. We also got James Reimer back from the Avalanche. I had titled last episode King Arthur's Crease because Silovs was starting to run away with it, and DeSmith was doing very well, but Silovs' numbers were just ridiculous. He was injured. Now he's got a playable injury, so DeSmith went back to being the starter. But just to say, Silovs, we called him up from the AHL. His numbers were never incredible in the NHL or the AHL, aside from this one season in the AHL. 13 appearances, he went 8-3-1 with a .927 save percentage and 2.35 goals against average. Meanwhile, Casey DeSmith, 34 years of age, a career 1B kind of guy. We've been leaning on him more and more. He's been leaned on before in Pittsburgh throughout his career. But once Demko left, he really got a chance to spread his wings. 17-12-2 with 2 shutouts, .917 save percentage, and 2.57 goals against average. Really well done to Casey DeSmith, who especially has been incredible the last 2 postseasons, as he has a combined record through 18 appearances of 10-6-2 with 3 shutouts and fantastic save percentage and goals against average. We also have James Reimer in here. We picked him up from the Avalanche. He's been third goalie, 1-3-1. Not the greatest record, but solid enough save percentage and goals against average through 5 appearances. So Silovs will be back soon, but Casey DeSmith will be our starter to begin the postseason. That's about it for the season recap. Lots of positives, but definitely some concerning negatives, especially when it came to the plus-minuses in that middle 6, especially the second line, and even the effectiveness of the penalty kill. So I went ahead and played around with the lines a little bit. I'm kind of thinking these will be the lines that we go with. Maybe we'll change up a bit more. We'll get to the comments from the assistant general managers in just a moment. They had many suggestions when it came to line combinations. Not usually a ton to suggest headed into a postseason episode, but when it came to the lines and the defensive pairings with the negatives that we were seeing, there were a lot of different line combination possibilities. So that being said, let's see what the AGMs had in mind. So we'll start off with this comment from Masink, kind of encapsulating a lot of my thoughts as well. Masink said, nail biter to the end, as we barely made the postseason in the wildcard spot, but it doesn't matter how you get there, just that you do. One interesting thing I wanted to note, during quite a few of the slow sim games, the Canucks were putting up a ton of shots on goal and limiting the other teams. Defense seems to be the bright spot here. So there were many games where we were like getting 40, 50 shots, and the other team was getting maybe 25, yet they were still tight games. So essentially, I would say that our forwards, aside from our first line, have to be more clinical in their finishing so that the effort put forth from the defense does not get lost in vain here. In my opinion, lines for the playoffs, at least to start, should be Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Miller, Perron, Reinhart, Podkolzin, Ratu, Danault, Besser, Maroon, Eller, Klimovich. On defense, Hughes, Hronik, Hanifin, Manson, McNabb, Willander. And then goaltending would be DeSmith and Reimer, as Silovs is still injured. I think spreading the wealth on the right side of the defensive pairings would do well, not only for the line chemistry, but for having an ideal matchup down the lineup. Willander, I think, stays on the top special teams units to keep his ice time up. My idea for the forward lines is to spread the scoring around the middle six a little bit. Perron and Besser would be the big goal scorers on their lines, Reinhart a playmaker, and then the two-way depth with Podkolzin, Ratu, and Danault. Excited to see if we can pull off a big upset here in round number 1 and be the team that goes on a Cinderella Cup run that we've seen so many times in the NHL playoffs. Let's go Canucks. Thank you for that great comment, Masink. Now, I gotta say, I think I'm pretty much in agreement when it came to the lines. Like, if we have something of Perron and Besser together, whether it be on the second line or the third line or whatever else, it seems like those are the two scorers. Perron 27 goals, Besser 30 goals. We gotta spread them out a little bit. Besser and Reinhart also can't play on the same line because of that plus-minus black hole. So if Reinhart needs to stay center and we're not swapping Danault and Reinhart for second and third line center, I think those suggestions would probably be what we do. Perron, Reinhart, Podkolzin on the second line, Ratu, Danault, Besser on the third. Because Ratu, we want to give him ice time, but he has a horrible, horrible second line fit. We don't want to ruin anything going there. And Podkolzin, let's give him a little shot here. Last year in the postseason, he had 6 goals and 11 points in 19 games. Pretty impressive. Meanwhile, last year in the postseason, Brock Besser had what? Show me there. 9 points and a -3 in 19 games. And Sam Reinhart had 7 points and was -2 in 19 games. So let's see if Podkolzin has a little bit of postseason magic. On defense, I agree. Let's put the higher overall players up. Hronik with Hughes on the first pair getting the +2 is fine. And on the second pair, we'll bring Manson up to give the +2 with Hanifin. That would be a big benefit to both of them, playing as 87 and 85. And then Willander still getting top minutes for the special teams, 16 goals, great presence there on the power play. We'll bring him down a little bit as an 80 overall, as a younger guy. Pair him with the veteran Braden McNabb, 35 years of age, just for the postseason. I like this very much. +2/+2 on the first and second deep pairings. I think these are our lines. Although there will be other suggestions that we will definitely keep in mind should things change over the course of the postseason, I think we're good to start like this. Because as Cheating Heel says in this comment here, the other school of thought would be to spread around the wealth a little bit. First off, Cheating Heel saying DeSmith has been our playoff goalie for a few years now, so I think the net is his for now. As far as defense goes, would it make sense to balance out the pairings? That's exactly what we did there. We could maybe put Manson and Hronik swapping around, but essentially Willander being third pair was agreed upon across the comments from the assistant general managers. As for the offense, if we balance things out, maybe we go Kuzmenko or Miller with Pettersson and Besser. Then on the second line, the other one of Kuzmenko or Miller with Reinhart and then Podkolzin or Perron. Third line, Ratu, Danault, Podkolzin, or Perron. Then fourth line, Maroon, Ehlers, and then even a Lekaramaki call-up or Klimovich. Because if our opponent only has one line to shut down, it could be a quick exit for us. But then again, do we want to break up that killer line? I would say one of the best lines, if not the best line in the NHL right now. Tough call. In GM data we trust, go Nucks. Thank you, Cheating Heel. So I would say I'm 100% open to breaking that line up, but it's been so good that we want to at least give them game 1, I would think, or game 1 and 2, and let the middle 6 see if they can figure themselves out a little before we start relegating players to the 4th line and doing crazy things. I would say let's start it like that. Brock Besser was so bad in his plus-minus, I don't know if I want to bring like the plague up to this first line here to affect Pettersson and Kuzmenko. I think they have to prove themselves to me a little bit first, then I'll consider making some changes, or if we get desperate or what. And then for what Cheating Heel had said on defense, we could swap Hronek and Manson to go +3/+1 instead of +2/+2. But for now, we'll keep it like this. Hughes and Hronek have a lot of experience together as well. They're our 2 highest overall defensemen. We'll start it like that, and as always, much will change as the postseason goes on. Next comment coming in from Patrick P-Dub saying, overall, not too shabby. It could have gone a lot worse if Demko was still around. The Demko trade seemed fair, bold to keep him in conference. I know that was very unfortunate that we had to do that. We had to find the right trading partner with the right return. It was unfortunate. I think we roll with what got us here. DeSmith and the first line stays intact. That's what we're doing so far. Keep Reinhardt and Danault as second and third line centers. We're also doing that. But then if we get blown out of game 1, we could shake things up and split that first line up. Keep DeSmith in, then if we lose game 2, then we make some other line changes, and then we can think about swapping Silovs back in, since he'll probably be healthy by like a game 3. So a few different ideas there, but I agree with what Patrick's saying. Next comment from Wild Bronco, Scott saying, maybe I'm biased by his IRL performance, but I think Besser needs a shot on the second line in the playoffs, albeit on a short leash. So essentially all the exact same lines for the forwards and defense as I was thinking. You read my mind there, Bronco. But just a Besser and Podkolzin swap for second and third line right wing. In theory, I wouldn't mind that at all. Besser was a 30-goal scorer, put him in that top 6, but I just really can't have Reinhardt and Besser together after what they showed this season. Maybe if things change over time and we get desperate, but I think to start the postseason, we can't risk having them together. As much as we love what he's doing in the real world, and as much as we appreciate his 30 goals, we gotta separate those two. So that's essentially it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start off the lines looking like this for the forwards and the defense. On the special teams, the only change I really made on the penalty kill was to get Elias Pettersson onto the first unit. Danault's been going down a little bit. Let's give him a bit more of a reduced role. Let's have Pettersson, Miller, Hanifin, and Hronek just be the big, bad first penalty killers that come out. They've been doing very well in the slow sim as well, but when we look at the numbers, as we saw, some of the lowest in the NHL. So we'll try getting Pettersson onto the first unit. We'll put Danault onto the second unit before we start doing anything else too crazy, because we already have a lot of our higher overall guys defensively out there. If we made crazy changes, it would be to put in players that on paper wouldn't look as good, and we usually only do that when we get super desperate. So all that to say, thank you as always to the assistant general managers for adding their thoughts. Those will be our line combinations to start this postseason against the Anaheim Ducks, one of the top teams in the NHL. We ended the season with an overtime win against them, but look at this scary, scary squad. Leo Carlsson, Leon Draisaitl, and Troy Terry as the first line. Leon Draisaitl, who was huge in our Penguins series to end off NHL 23, Data 782 Hall of Fame member as well. He scored 93 points in this first season with the Ducks on the first of his new, actually only a one-year contract at $14.79 million. Wow. In his first and possibly only year with the Ducks. Leo Carlsson, 21 years of age, 89 overall, 85 points from him. And Troy Terry on the season put up 66. All right. Second line, Strome, Zegras, and Duclair. Third line, Killorn, McTavish, and Coleman. And then fourth line, Lysell, Johansson, and Lundstrom. Another legend from the Penguins series, Lundstrom. What a tank. On defense, we see Minchikov and Drysdale, Kuhlmans and Fowler, and then Zellweger and D'Angelo. So no defenseman lower than an 82 overall. I'd say a bit more of an offensively minded defensive core, but good defense here for the Ducks. And between the pipes, they have John Gibson at an 84 overall, backed up by Lucas Dostal. So looking at John Gibson, what did he do in the season? Anything crazy? 913 save percentage, 2.95 goals against. Historically not great either with the Ducks, but they are becoming a better team. Scratches, Gudas, and Max Jones. All right, so it's going to be a scary squad here in Anaheim, one of our rivals in the Pacific Division. They finished as the second best team in the NHL, so it's definitely not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough matchup here, but we've seen tough matchups before. Spoiler alert if you're just joining the series, but over the last couple years in the postseason, it was a round 1 exit in year number 1, and a round 3 conference final exit in year number 2. We were close to that Stanley Cup Final, but we lost in Game 6 to the Jets in the Western Conference Final last year. So now we're back in year number 3. We are as strong as ever despite the faltering at moments. Most of this core has been here for all 3 of our seasons with the Canucks so far. So we'll definitely be relying on those veterans at the top. You know what? I've done enough talking. Let's get into this postseason, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you haven't watched a postseason episode before, this episode, as you see it on YouTube, is somewhere between an hour 15, hour 45, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. I always mix it up to keep you guessing, because even if we lose in round number 1 in 4 games, I'll put it in a black screen for an hour so that there's no spoiling happening. You'll be reacting as I react to this postseason series on the edge of your seat. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. If it does end up being a little black screen with classical music for like 45 minutes, I'd appreciate if you just let it run a little bit. Helps with the performance of the video, but I'd rather that lose out on 55 cents and we enjoy the episode a little bit more and you don't see that it's only 42 minutes long. Anyways, Game 1, Round 1 in Anaheim. A lot to prove. We have good health. Power play earlier for the Ducks. We've mixed up the lines a little bit. We've been to the summit. Now let's see if we can push a little bit further in our 3rd year with this franchise. First period ends 1-0 for the Canucks. Patrick Maroon, the former Duck as well. There's that postseason experience that he brings to the table on that 4th line. That's why he's in this lineup, Patty Maroon. Shots end 12-9 for the Ducks. We're up 1-0 after 20. Second period now. It's a 1-1 game as Zellweger scores on the power play. Shots are 24-22 for the Ducks, and we're tied at 1 after 40. Headed into the final 20 minutes. This would be a huge win on the road to start off this series. Casey DeSmith has been solid through and through now in his 3rd postseason, but another power play goals given up. Our 2 goals given up have both been on the power play for the Ducks. Power play for the Canucks now, killed off by Anaheim, as Draisaitl got that one for the Ducks. Into the final 5 minutes now, looking for a hero in that top 6 maybe. Final minute and a half. Goalie pulled. Wow, that is so brutal. Both goals scored on the power play. We give up no even strength goals. 32 saves from 34-year-old Casey DeSmith, and we lose 2-1. Wow, that really hurts. That really, really hurts. Hronek, wow, high sticking, delay of game. Come on, Hronek, slashing, delay of game again. We took so many penalties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-2 in the minor penalties. Shots end tied at 34, and we drop it 2-1. 33 saves from John Gibson. Great show from Casey DeSmith. This team can have confidence when playing behind him when it comes to the postseason. He turns on the Jets, but for some reason, the penalty kill continues to struggle. Silovs is fully healed. We'll put him in as backup, but Casey DeSmith continues to prove himself. So until he starts to struggle a little bit, he will retain the crease. All right, that game made me angry enough that I'm making some changes now. First unit of the penalty kill will look like this. Second unit will look like this, +3, +2. Third unit will look like this with a +3 as well. All right, we're rolling like that for the penalty kill because we would have won that game if it wasn't for giving up the power play goals. We were 3 for 5 on the penalty kill, but we can't allow those 2. It just wasn't good enough. So we drop a winnable game at Honda Center in game number 1. We head into game number 2 now, still in Anaheim, looking to even it up and bring a best of 5 back home to Vancouver because that was a very tough way to go out. We could have had it. Our scoring dried up and the penalty kill was not good enough. So here we go, first period of game number 2, and we start off with a 2-0 deficit to the Ducks. Zegras and Duclair scoring on the first 8 shots in this period. As we're outshooting Anaheim 11-8, but down 2-0 after 20. 2 even strength goals. At least it was on the power play. But come on now. Second period, 3-2. Okay, huge comeback. Quinn Hughes, the captain, leads by example to make it 2-1. Lars Eller ties it up at 2, but then Trevor Zegras just 27 seconds later restores the Ducks lead. Shots are 21-20 for Anaheim, and we're down by 1. We're back in it here in the third period. I'd love a quick tie here. Power play early, killed off by the Ducks. I believe we're yet to score a power play goal now through these 2 games so far. Halfway through the third period, once again, only down by 1. We got to get more past John Gibson here, gentlemen. Come on, into the final 5 minutes, only down by 1. There it is! Josh Manson ties it up at 3! How about that? His first goal as a Canuck! 3 assists in 27 games in the regular season, or if you add the 1 game last game, so 3 assists through 28 games as a Canuck. But in game number 29, the defensive defenseman moved up to that second pair, gets the game-tying goal to push this to overtime. How about that, of all the unlikely sources? Shots end 38-28, and Josh Manson, the close-to-deadline acquisition in the Demko deal, pushes us into overtime. Looking at the rankings here, the Ducks have us on the offense by 3. We have them on the defense by 4. And they're up on us on the goaltending by 2. Here at Honda Center in Anaheim, next goal is going to be a big one. Either the Ducks go up 2-0 in this series, or we tie it up at 1 and make it a best-of-5 headed back to Vancouver. Second line out now, Perron, Reinhardt, and Podkolzin for the defensive zone draw. Reinhardt against Draisaitl, tie up. Vancouver came away with it for a second. Carlson has it back at the point. No, Drysdale can't get through traffic. Troy Terry, oh! Glove save DeSmith through traffic. How did he see that one? Huge save from Casey. Leo Carlson over to Zegras. That's blocked, thank goodness. Ratu, hold on, here we go. Power play opportunity. That's exactly what we want to see. Should we take a timeout? Not yet. Could be a long overtime. You never know. Trevor Zegras, 2 for tripping as he trips Ratu in the corner there. Great news, and he is furious there, tossing the water bottle. Trevor Zegras, little poke check. Yeah, come on, come on. Give him 5 in a game. Power play opportunity for us now. The first unit is out. Kuzmenko, Miller, Pedersen, Hughes, and Ratu. That's the first unit. Hughes up to JT Miller now. Miller over to Kuzmenko on net, buddy. Come on, scores! Andrei Kuzmenko! As Cam Fowler put it in his own net. Oh, we get the EA voodoo luck. Thankfully, for once, we get very lucky with an overtime power play own goal. Wow! Huge win for the Canucks, and we get very lucky as Kuzmenko puts it on net, closes his eyes, sends up a prayer, and he gets the results. Let's see it again. On net, and Fowler just skates it into his own net as his body skates through the post, and he has ascended into another dimension of humanity, I suppose. Look at that. The captain, Cam Fowler, ascended as his stick goes through, his hand goes through. There you go. His body goes through. He is no longer human. So the shots ended 40-32, and we come away with a huge 4-3 victory. Very lucky in overtime, as Kuzmenko's weak shot ended up being a rebound that we wanted to pounce on, but Cam Fowler pounced on it for us. That will be in the ultimate misplays of all time. So we even up this series at 1 with that overtime victory, and we head back to Vancouver with a 1-1 series, and it's now a best-of-5 at Rogers Arena in front of the home fans. We'll keep the lineups as they are. Allowing those 2 goals in the first period was tough, but then we didn't allow anything in the second, third, and of course not in overtime. So here we go, game 3 of round number 1. This will be a huge victory in front of the home fans. Both games have been decided by 1 goal, so let's see if that trend continues. Every single inch matters. Take a penalty 50 seconds in, lovely. First period ends 1-1. Podkolzin, I think we even had a 5-on-3 that we killed off. Podkolzin opens it up on that second line. Love to see him in the top 6, and Mason McTavish ties it late with 1:09 to go. Did we have were we killing a 5-on-3 there? Yes, we were. Fantastic. Elbowing 22 seconds in, and Pedersen takes a hooking penalty 28 seconds later. Ridiculous. But we're tied at 1 after 20 shots, 17-11 in our favor. Second period now, 3-2. Kuzmenko scores our first power play goal of the series. Actually, no, sorry. The power play goal in overtime counted as one. So he has scored the only 2 power play goals in our series so far. Coleman ties it up soon after. Then Marcus Johansson down that 4th line gives the Ducks their first lead of this game. Shots are 32-18 in our favor, but we're down by 1. Close to doubling the shots, but we're down by 1 here in the third period. Power play Anaheim, 5-on-3 again. Incredible. Then JT Miller power play goal as it comes back in our favor. Power play Ducks once more, another penalty kill. There are those penalty killers making the difference out there. Thank goodness after game 1. We're tied at 3 with 5 minutes to go here. Lots of shots in our favor. And Elias Pettersson puts us up by 1. Could that be enough late to take the victory? And yes, it will be. Huge victory late in the third period from down 3-2 to winning 4-3. JT Miller scores a power play goal, just our 3rd of the series, the 2nd of the game. Then Elias Pettersson, our anchor, up on that first line, our 93 overall centerman. Shots end 43-28. Pettersson gets the game-winning goal late, and we take the lead in this series. Pettersson, Podkolzin, and Miller all score a goal and an assist apiece for the first, second, and third star, respectively. And we're now up with back-to-back 4-3 victories to now have a 2-1 series lead. The AHL season is over. We finished 42-22-8 down in the AHL, playing the Sharks AHL affiliate in round number 1. I don't think I see much reason to pause, but as always, it's good to just do the due diligence. Let's check out the plus-minuses here. How's everybody doing? Anyone really sticking out to us? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, -2, -3, -3. 2, 2, and 1. Lovely. Okay, so Ratu, buddy. -3 from Dano, -3 from Besser. You know what? When we put Besser on the 4th line to end the regular season, I think he scored at least a couple goals there. So I'm going to bring Maroon up. And Besser's going 4th line with Klimovich and Eller. Maroon's going to play with Dano and Ratu and keep the +1 playing on the left wing. Lovely. Maroon, he's got that poise, right? 85 poise, a few Stanley Cup rings if you ever heard of them. Why not? On defense, +3, +2, -1, -1, -2, -2. Not much to change there, probably. Maybe a swap like this, but I like Manson scoring that goal when he did. We'll keep the defense for now. Casey DeSmith hasn't been crazy, but a .914 save percentage is most certainly serviceable. So let's keep rolling into game number 3 with a 2-1 series lead here against the Ducks at home, looking to take a 3-1 series lead back to Anaheim. That would be incredible. The Pony Killers did their job in game 3. Let's not force them to work overtime in game number 4. Let's try and have a comfortable victory for once, not all these tight games. Another 1-goal decider. So here we go, first period of game number 4, 2-2 after 20. Wow. Troy Terry opens it up, then Kuzmenko answers back. Podkolzin in another goal on that second line. I love this man. Then Draisaitl ties it up late. 17-10 the shots in our favor. I think that was the same as last game after the first period, right? And we're tied at 2 after 20. Second period now, 3-3. Lysell gives the Ducks the lead, but then JT Miller ties it back up. Miller only scored 1 goal, I think, last postseason, so to have 2 through 4 games is great to see already. Shots are 33-21 in our favor. Once again, we're outshooting our opponent like crazy, but we're all tied up at 3, headed into the final 20 minutes. This will be a huge period for us. Let's see the depth scoring come through. Let's see the defense even. Troy Terry makes it 4 goals on 27 shots. The Ducks have the lead once more. We're closing on 40 shots, make it a 5-3 lead now. Blake Coleman, 5 on 28 past DeSmith. 5 minutes to go. Could we have some late little push here? Doesn't look like it into the final minute, and that'll be it. The Ducks tie up the series at 2 as we split the games in Vancouver. Shots end 40-31, but we drop it 5-3. The first game of this series that was not decided by 1 goal. The first line carried the Ducks right there for sure. So 5-3 loss. We're all tied up at 2. And that was a best of 3 headed to the Honda Center in Anaheim. Now, when it comes to the goaltending for game number 5, Casey DeSmith, as we've been saying, he hasn't been horrible, especially considering that the Ducks were tied for the second highest scoring team in the league at 3.59 goals for per game. DeSmith allowing 3.25 against per game isn't really super surprising. The .896 save percentage is a bit rough, so typically, if our backup option were just a random player, we'd probably say, okay, DeSmith has been good in the past, he can bounce back, we've seen him prove himself before, let's keep rolling with him. But I gotta say, I'm very tempted by Silovs and his crazy season of .927 save percentage and 2.35 goals against, albeit in a 13-game sample size. You know, now that he's healthy, I'm very, very curious to see what he could do in the postseason, especially considering that DeSmith is getting older. We're trying to figure out what we do for the goaltending next season. I'm not saying DeSmith is done, we're moving on from him, but you know, would it be a bad idea to give Silovs a start right here? So I posed the question to the Discord server, essentially asking, regardless of our win-loss record, after the first few games, what numbers from Casey DeSmith would you have to see to make you say, let's try the other goalie? Not that we're moving on from him, but this, you know, let's give the other goalie a start. And the consensus seemed to be anything below a .900 save percentage or above 3-ish goals against average, 3, 3.5. He's right in the middle at 3.25. His save percentage is fringe at .896. I gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed with last game, 5 goals on 28 shots. We finally scored 3 goals. Well, finally, but we scored 3. And, you know, you want to at least hope that it gets you to overtime, but allowing 5, I know it was the first time. I'm not trying to say that he hasn't done well or that we've lost faith in him. Not at all. It's more that I really want to see what Silovs can do, King Arthur. So we're going to give King Arthur a start. Silovs' first career postseason NHL start. In the AHL, he had 2 starts in 2022 in the 2023 postseason. Nothing since then. 1-1 with a .914 save percentage. So Silovs, buddy, let's see what you can do. You looked great in the regular season. I think he had a pulled groin, so you're back and fully healthy, doing some physio, doing some stretches. We're at a 2-2 series. We're not at the unbreakable point just yet. We're in Anaheim. It won't be an easy game for you, King Arthur, but we're going to hope that this team can rally around the young netminder and try and do something here, especially with those changes in our lineup that were made as well. The penalty kill's been strong. Let's see what we can do with Silovs between the pipes for his first career start. And lovely, the first shot that he sees in his career is a goal from Draisaitl 14 seconds in. Why do I even speak sometimes? It's so hard in EA land. This guy could get a shutout, and I'd say I'm the genius, and then he allows 1 goal in 1 shot. But it's just the beginning. First period ends 2-0. 2 goals on 15 shots, Draisaitl and Zegras. I can only blame Silov so much, though. If we're not getting any offense, whether it's 100, whether it be 9-0 or 1-0, it's a loss. So we got to see some offense here in the second period to give him some support. It's not all on his shoulders. Second period, 4-1. Zegras and then Draisaitl again on the power play. McNabb, unlikely source there. We're out shooting Anaheim 24-23, and we're down by 3 here in the third period. 4-1. 4 goals on 23 shots on Silovs. Come on, King Arthur. First power play opportunity there in the third period. Power play Ducks. We kill that off. We're down by 3. Oh, make it down by 2. We have life. Sam Reinhart makes it. Okay, and Brock Besser. There he is on power play. We're back in this. Power play Ducks. Of course, it's an extended power play for the Ducks for like 7 minutes. Final couple minutes here. 2 minutes to go. 1 minute. Okay, we're going to hop in here. It's tight enough in the series. We want to hop in. Minute 32 to go. Let's see if we can get an offensive zone face-off. Do a little timeout. Pull the goalie. Something. Let's go. 1:35 to go here at the Honda Center, from down 4-1 to now down 4-3. It's a 1-goal game. Let's try and get some pressure going here in the final minute and a half or so. I'll change up the strategies and everything in a moment, but what we got to do is get an offensive zone face-off at least. Here we go. Quinn Hughes up to JT Miller. Miller trying to squeeze through. He can't get there. Coleman's in the corner. Broken up by Kuzmenko. Scores! Andrei Kuzmenko! What a goal! He picks it off and snipes it! 4-4 game! Wow! What a moment! Andrei Kuzmenko is 4th in the postseason! What a moment! He picks it off like a young boy in a cherry field. The cherry picker himself. Look at that. Just in open space. Terrible backhand. Picks it off like nothing and just snipes it like another day at the office. Timeout now from the Ducks. It's a 4-4 game. Didn't have to pull the goalie or anything. What a moment this is. From down 4-1 to tied 4-4. This is a huge moment in the series. Whether we go up 3-2 or go down 3-2. A minute 17 to go, and we have life unassisted from Kuzmenko. Well done. Now here's Drysdale at the point. Back down low, poked by Silovs. In the corner now, the Ducks have it. Duclair's shot is blocked. Strome to Zegras. Back to Strome. Good blocker save. That puck movement is always bad news for the AI. Zegras, Duclair off! Big block from Hanifin as Silovs was diving across. I don't know if he would have made it through traffic. Desperation save from Silovs in the final seconds. Manson, get it out! Shoot! But Cole's in final 2 seconds. Put it on net. And he doesn't, but we'll make it to overtime. Wow, what an ending to that third period as we force overtime. There's Kuzmenko's pickoff and snipe that got us here. Silovs making some desperation saves and the defense standing tall. Shots tied at 38 at the end of regulation. Would this have gone? Duclair? Maybe. I don't know. I think Silovs might have gotten that one. Then to the point, big shot here. Was this a save? Yeah, this was a save. Just barely, huh? Oh, just a piece of the glove as he fell down on that one too, eh? And he fell down. Wow, desperation saves from the King, fighting for his kingdom as we're headed into overtime. The next goal will be huge. Whoever scores will put his team up 3-2 with a chance to end it back in Vancouver in Game 6. Let's hit it. Miller squeezes by to Kuzmenko. Big save again, Kuzmenko. He's been the hero now. Kuzmenko to the point. It's Quinn Hughes broken up by Draisaitl. It's a 2-on-1 back the other way unless we can get back in time. Troy Terry with a 2-on-1 of his own. In front, broken up and can't squeeze through the crease. Well done. Good to get back on defense. That was a tight chance. Pettersson, he's going to get back into Anaheim territory. Can't get by Mintyukov. Board pinned, and he's going to get it over to Terry. 2v2, Pettersson comes out with Kuzmenko. Pettersson scores! Elias Pettersson! And the Canucks win it in overtime! From down 4-1! I got to back up on the microphone or I'm going to break it with my volume. From down 4-1, the Canucks fight back to win 5-4 in overtime. Do you believe? What a game and what an effort from this squad. Elias Pettersson wins it in overtime. Weird play, little breakup. Gibson opens up, goes 5-hole. Not the flashiest of goals as the stick goes through the pads. I would have been going, and then the glove goes through the body. This AI is some of the worst we've seen in years. I'd be going crazy if it was against us, but when voodoo goes in our favor, we'll accept it for all the voodoo that goes against us. Kuzmenko had the big game-tying goal. Pettersson the game winner. Shots end 40-39, and we win Game 5 by a score of 5-4. Another one-goal game, and we will have a chance to end it in Game 6 back at home. Wow, this has been an incredible series so far. Headed to Rogers Arena, back home for Game 6, and a chance to win it against the second-best team in the NHL, the Anaheim Ducks. Now the question headed into game number 6 will be, do we continue with King Arthur or do we go back to Casey DeSmith? Now, Silov's had a bit of a shaky start. He did very well in the slow sim, in the real game, in the in-game sim, making those desperation saves. He ended up having an .897 save percentage and a 5.69 goals against average over that one game, over the, 60-plus minutes he played, through, including the overtime. So it wasn't great. DeSmith's numbers are slightly worse, 0.001 worse than the save percentage. He has the experience. We benched him for a game. I think we go back to Casey DeSmith. Again, we're not closing the door on Silovs, but I think he would have had to really impress us to say that we don't go back to DeSmith, because DeSmith, despite the numbers not being impressive, they're really mostly ruined by that 1 5-goal game in the 5-3 loss a couple games ago. So I think we'll go back to Casey DeSmith. The rest of the lineup stays the same, and now we head back into Vancouver, Rogers Arena, Game 6, Round 1, with the possibility of ending it against the 52-25-5 second-place Anaheim Ducks. All the cards are down. We have all our best efforts going right now. DeSmith hopefully giving us the best opportunity to make it through this next round. And we're just going to leave it up to the players here for game number 6. First period ends 0-0 through 20. Shots 13-10 for the Canucks. We have no score through the first period. Second period action. Now it's a 1-1 game. Klimovich down on that fourth line opens up the scoring. Then Leon Draisaitl gets the first. Very solid couple periods from both goals. But especially DeSmith, who after allowing 5 goals on 20-ish, was it 28 shots? 1 goal on 22 shots through 2 periods. Shots are 23-22 in our favor. We win this period. We win this series. We lose this period. We go to Game 7 back in Anaheim. Huge implications for these next 20 minutes. Let's leave it all on the ice. Let's give it our best, and let's try and win it in front of the home fans. Third period action here in Game 6 in Vancouver. Can we have a hero? Low-scoring affair after the last few games have been, 5-3, 5-4. It's been a couple of high-scoring-ish games. Power play Ducks here late in the first. We kill off that penalty. Under 5 minutes to go now, and Ratu will put us up late. Could that be the winner with a final minute to go? And Manson has the empty netter, and the Vancouver Canucks are through, ladies and gentlemen. Atu Ratu down on that third line gets the game-winning goal late on John Gibson. Casey DeSmith makes 31 saves and is welcome back to the crease, and Josh Manson adds in an empty net goal. Shots end 38-32, and we eliminate the second-best team in the NHL in 6 games in round number 1 as the wild card. Big upset. DeSmith first star with 31 saves, Manson a goal and an assist. Gibson did well, but they couldn't get through Casey DeSmith in his bounce-back game. You would say it's a big surprise on paper, but this is a good Canucks team that went to the Western Conference Final, just about a game away from the Stanley Cup Final last year, and they are hungry after last season's disappointment. This one was almost as satisfying as the reverse sweep against Vegas last year in round number 1. Back-to-back years of fantastic first-round efforts. Let's check out the points through round number 1. In 6 games, Kuzmenko, 4 huge goals, 7 points for him. Sam Reinhart, there you go, buddy. That's what we've been waiting for from you. Centering that second line, he scores 6 points in 6 games. Amazing. JT Miller with 5, Pettersson with 4. Both of his goals were game winners. So clutch when he needed to be. Hughes, Hronik also with 4. Manson 3 points, but a goal and assist in that last game, including the empty netter. That one goal was huge that he had scored the game-tying goal. I forgot which game it was. But Colson 3 points, Klimovich 3 points, Hanifin, Perron all with 3. Brock Besser 2 points and a -3. Maroon with a goal. Eller with 1 goal and a +3. McNabb, Ratu, his lone goal, Atu Ratu's lone point being a -2. Nothing through the first 5 games. And in Game 6, he scores the game winner. Better late than never. Dano, 1 assist, -4. Oh my goodness. And Willander, no points, -4. So our third line and our third defensive pair continue, and even our fourth line a bit with Besser. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because he's been on both. Very unfortunate to see that. It might be the coach. I don't know what. DeSmith, 3-2-0 in his 5 starts, 910 save percentage, and 2.8 goals against average. Lovely. I know the goals against average is likely off a little bit because when you go in game, it kind of messes up what the goals against average of a goalie is. It's very odd, long to explain, but the save percentage is more accurate to what Silovs was doing at 897. Just looking at the Ducks, though, by the way, because they were a good team. Their top line was firing on all cylinders. Draisaitl had 7 points with 5 goals, 4 from Zegras, and Gibson, 918 save percentage, but 3.33 goals against average. Goes to show how many shots we were getting on net. 2 of our wins came in overtime, so a little bit of luck went our way, a little bit of voodoo our way. Hey, why not, right? So let's keep on simulating towards round number 2. We'll rest up a little bit, and we'll see who our opponent will be. All right, a few days later, we're ready for round number 2. We will be facing the Edmonton Oilers, of course. The Oilers, 43, 34, and 5. They made it through round number 1. They were up against the Vegas Golden Knights. Yes, of course, the team that we took down in round number 1 last year. So it'll be Vancouver, Edmonton, another all-Canadian matchup there. Winnipeg's still alive. They're facing Minnesota over in the other Western Conference series. Rangers versus Flyers, and Lightning versus Maple Leafs in the Eastern Conference. We are yet to face the Oilers yet in the postseason. We've had lots of regular season meetings against them, absolutely. So we don't, I don't need to tell you who's on that team. Of course, we'll see McDavid, we'll see Nugent-Hopkins, we'll see Hyman. Let's check them out here. Edmonton Oilers in 2025-26. First line, Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid at a 98 overall, and Zach Hyman. Second line, Atkinson, Holloway, and Fabry. Third line, Kane, McLeod, and McGinn. Fourth line, Derek Ryan, Nick Bonino at 38 years of age, and Max Pacioretty. Wow. So, Connor McDavid, 7 goals and 9 points in 5 games. Wow. Nuge has 6 points. Hyman has 7 points. 6 from Fabry, 5 from Holloway. High-scoring team. High-octane offense. Absolutely. Wow. And on defense, who do we see here? Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard, 4 points and 6 points, respectively. Second pair, Chychrun and Broberg. Wow. And third pair, Ekholm and Kulak. Sheesh. And goaltending, it's 85 overall, Stuart Skinner, backed up by Jack Campbell. Skinner, bad numbers though from Skinner. Despite the 4 wins, they beat Vegas in 5 games. It's definitely their offense carrying them through. He had an 899 save percentage this season, almost 3.25 goals against average. And here in the postseason, 4-1, but 891 save percentage, 3.6 goals against average. So if we can just shut down the Oilers' offense, hopefully Stuart Skinner can continue the not as great pace that he's been on. That would be good for us. And we can continue to break through him as he's shown his vulnerabilities against the Vegas Golden Knights. Warren Fogle and Xavier Bourgault as the healthy scratches here for the Oilers. So it is a high-octane offense team with a few leaks that we will most certainly want to exploit. We're on the road in Edmonton at Rogers Place to kick off Game 1 of round number 2. We've made it to at least the second round for the second consecutive year. So definitely a big success for especially considering the team that we were taking over and the lack of postseason success they were having. It's going to be high octane. We got to expect that. But we got to be stronger defensively and clinical in finishing because we've been getting a lot of shots, but not a lot of goals. First period ends 2-2. Sam Reinhart opens up the scoring with his second goal of the postseason. Nurse ties it up. Hyman gives the Oilers the lead. Then JT Miller on the power play ties us back up at 2. Shots end 15-12 for the Oilers. We're tied up after 20. Atkinson scores in the first shot of the period. Second period ends 4-4. Atkinson, then answered by Podkolzin. McGinn, then answered by Brock Besser. There he is down there on the 4th line. All right, so 8 goals through 2 periods. Shots 29-21 in our favor. We're breaking through Stuart Skinner, that's for sure. 4-on-21. 4-on-29, not ideal. We need DeSmith to hold it down, and we got to hope that we can add 1 or 2 more here in the 3rd period. Power play Edmonton early. It's an extended one. And we kill it off. That's a huge penalty kill there. Since we changed the line, we've been seeing a lot of success. And Lars Eller makes it 5-4. We're being outshot by quite a bit, but we take the lead. Lars down that 4th line. Come on, Lars! Come on, Tars! Final 5 minutes. Can we hang on to this goal from Lars Eller to give us the victory? And yes, we can. There you go. Cooper, he's loving it. Let's go. 5-4 the final. Shots end, 43-29 for the Oilers. Nurse a goal and assist. Eller the game winner and an assist. And Quinn Hughes with 2 assists. Shout out to anyone who catches the interstellar references. 1-0 series lead. Another game that ends within a 1-goal margin, but we will take it. 1 goal, the decider, and Lars Eller got it tonight. A goal from Brock Besser, a goal from Lars Eller. There's that fourth line waking up. And you know what? That's a big win on the road as well. To take a 1-0 series lead and the opportunity to take both on the road, that would be a huge steal, and go back home to Vancouver with a 2-0 series lead. Let's keep it rolling. Good game 1. Let's try and be a bit tighter defensively and keep it rolling here in game number 2. First period, 2-1 Oilers after 20. McDavid scores his first after he was shut out last game. Elias Pettersson ties it up, but then Hyman gets another one in this series, making it a 2-1 Oilers game. Shots 14-11 after 20 for Edmonton. Power play Edmonton killed off. There you go. Second period ends 2-2. Patty Maroon. There he is, the veteran. He wants that 4th Stanley Cup ring. Maroon makes it a 2-2 game. Shots 25-20 for the Oilers, but we're tied at 2 after 40. Power play Vancouver. Now a power play for the Oilers. Back and forth, killed off. Back to even strength 5 minutes into the third period. Shots are pretty even. Not a lot on either side. Power play Oilers again. Another huge penalty kill. Power play Vancouver. Extended Vancouver opportunity. Killed off by the Oilers. Wow. Final 2 minutes. Is there a hero in the final minute? We're off to overtime. Shots and 39-34. A much tighter game here for both sides. 2-2 after 60. So looking at the numbers here, the offense is tied. We're up by 2 on defense, but the Oilers up by 4 for the goaltending. But that doesn't matter. Overalls do not matter in the postseason. Here we go. Overtime in Game 2 in Edmonton. A goal for us puts us up 2-0, headed back home to Vancouver. That would be huge. But a goal for the Oilers will tie this series up at 1 and make it a best of 5. Connor McDavid over the blue line. Poked away by Hughes, but he keeps possession. In front, redirected, and DeSmith hangs on. He gets stick lifted behind himself's possession. Nurse. Nugent Hopkins, big save there. Here we go. Here comes Bobby. Hanifin to Maroon. Oh, big blocker save as Maroon had a good look right there. Behind the net now is Holloway. One-timer from Atkinson. Big blocker save from DeSmith. And then a penalty. Oh, my goodness. Classic little trips. All right, penalty killers are coming out. Lars Eller, 2 for tripping. Lars with that nice postseason beard. Looking good. Lars Eller, there you go. Nice little poke trip. It's a classic. It's a classic. Our penalty killers have done very well, so they can continue to do so in the sim here. Oilers 0 for 6 on the power play tonight. Reinhart to Manson. In front, Pettersson. Yeah, a little kick save. Can we get some pressure going even? My goodness. Pushed off the puck at the blue line. Now here comes Bonino playing power play minutes. Bonino with Evander Kane tight. Big save from DeSmith. What a save with only 30 seconds through this power play. His shot is turned aside. We still have some... Oh, McNabb alone! Oh my goodness, the defensive defenseman shorthanded in alone with a lot of open space. Wow, we're doing a great job killing this penalty and even generating a little bit of offense. And Danault wins the draw. Very good. McNabb. Hughes over to Danault. Miller. Great cycling here. Danault to Quinn Hughes. That's stopped by Skinner. Hold on, little poke. Miller has it now. JT scores! JT Miller! The pickpocket! Wow! 10 seconds away from full pressure, the Oilers didn't know what to do in their own zone. On their 7th power play opportunity, they give up the puck in their own zone to JT Miller, who snipes home the shorthanded game-winning overtime goal to put us up 2-0 in this series, headed back to Vancouver. JT Miller, who didn't do almost anything last postseason, leaving Skinner just sitting flat on the ice. Who did almost nothing last postseason, absolutely pulling his weight right here. Love these new penalty kill units. That's been kind of like the highlight of this episode for me. Loving the penalty kill units. And JT Miller wins it in overtime for us. Shots and 46-42. 44 saves from Casey DeSmith, just doing Casey DeSmith things. Casey Kasem, sing us a lullaby, and we'll take the 2-0 series lead with 2 big wins, both by 1 goal against the Oilers in Edmonton. Oh my goodness. The Jets also up 2-0. Could that be a potential rematch? But we'll wait. We don't want to count those chickens just yet. Whew, no reason to stop, so we'll keep on going, but I just want to take a quick peek at the plus-minuses here. No one's really running away with the point totals here, so that's good that we're not just only being carried by the top line. Even plus-minuses, +2 for Miller, 0, -1, +1, +2, -2, -2, okay. +4, +4, -2. Why is Besser always negative when his teammates are positive, or his line mates are positive? It makes no sense. +9, +7, -1, 0, -5, -7. Does Carson Soucy come in? Does Carson Soucy come in? He's been good. Tumberlinder's been okay. Like, well, I don't know, has in the regular season he was 16 goals. He's playing 16 minutes per night. The team seems to be doing well, but would it make a difference to see Carson Soucy out here? Would it be crazy? So if we put Carson Soucy out, we'd give it a -1, unfortunately. We'd fix up the power play as well to take Soucy off that second unit. Who would we put here? Maybe put Colson. Why not? Let's put Colson there. And let's see what happens, maybe. Let's give it Carson Soucy a game, because -7, that really does stand out, I have to admit. And DeSmith back to a .918 save percentage. Love to see it. 1 game off, let him rest. The guy's 34. Let him rest a little bit. Now he's back in business. All right, Game 3 at Rogers Arena here in Vancouver. I was confused by the arena names, both having Rogers in them. So yes, now we're back in Vancouver at Rogers Arena for Game 3 of Round 2 to take a huge 3-0 lead in this series. But the Oilers, we've seen their offense. They're not going to just take that lying down. They're going to come out firing on all cylinders. We got to keep breaking through Stuart Skinner. First period, it's 2-0 Vancouver. Philippe Dano, voyons, there he is. Hey, bienvenue Philippe. Thanks for showing up. And David Perron gets another. His fellow French-Canadian. There you go. Our two getting it done in that middle six. So Perron and Dano putting us up 2-0. Shots 12-9 in our favor through 20 minutes. McLeod scores early in the second to give the Oilers their first goal of this game. Second period ends 4-1. Braden McNabb with his new partner Carson Soucy, and Kuzmenko, who's quieted down a little bit, he's back in business. Shots 25-21 for the Canucks, and we're up 4-1. 3-goal lead headed into the third period, doing very well. Really what I'd mentioned, power play Oilers killed off, power play Canucks now killed off as well. What I'd mentioned about Skinner is really all the difference, because the offense of the Oilers, I'm not saying it's not there. They scored 2 goals already. They could get more, as Nurse scores there early, halfway through the third. But it's really our ability to score on Stuart Skinner. That'll be the difference of whether or not we win this series. Up by 2 with 2 minutes to go, and that'll be all she wrote. Another huge performance from Casey DeSmith. 33 saves. How does he do it? Year in and year out. Casey DeSmith, first star honors with 33 saves. Perron, a goal and an assist. McNabb with a goal as well. Love to see it. 4-2 to put us up 3-0. And now a chance to sweep Connor McDavid and the Oilers with a game number 4 victory if we can get it here at home. McDavid, 7 goals in 5 games against Vegas, only 1 goal in 3 games against us. Don't want to jinx it just yet. DeSmith up to a .921 save percentage. And Carson Soucy, how you doing, buddy? That 1 game, yeah, it was a +1. There you go, Carson Soucy. We'll take it. Why not? So here we now are with a chance to end it. The Jets are close to sweeping the Wild, and the Rangers also close to sweeping the Flyers right now. Woof. So here we go. It's not over yet. We've seen reverse sweeps before. Let's keep our heads. Let's stay calm. Let's stay focused. Let's keep playing the game that we've been playing against this Oilers team. Game 4 in Vancouver at home. Let's win it, and let's rest up a little bit. Very well deserved. Let's do it. First period, Game 4, Round 2. 1-0 Canucks after 20. Kuzmenko scoring in back-to-back games. Love to see it. His 6th, I believe, of the postseason. Shots 10-7 in our favor through 20 minutes. Very good. Second period, 2-0 Vancouver. Kuzmenko again! His 2nd of the evening and his 3rd in the last 2 games. Shots 25-16. Edmonton's offense just slowing down, I suppose. A lot less shots on net than usual. 2-0 after 40. Let's add to this lead. There's Connor McDavid, just his 2nd goal of the series. He was not going to be held down for every single game. He scores his 2nd in 4 games. Remember, he scored 7 in 5. Only 2 in 4 so far. Power play Canucks is killed off. We're up by 1 with under half to go here. Final 5 minutes of this third period. Can we hang on for the sweep? Do the others have a last push in them? Power play late. That's exactly what we needed. Hronek will add the empty net power play goal. And your Vancouver Canucks are through, ladies and gentlemen, sweeping the Edmonton Oilers. And we're off to the Western Conference Final for the 2nd time in as many years. Shots end 39-22, 21 saves from Casey DeSmith, getting him the 3rd star. Kuzmenko scores twice to make him the 1st star, absolutely. Stuart Skinner had his best outing, but the offense let the Oilers down. And there you have it. Bing, bang, bong, quick series, and it will be a rematch in the Western Conference Final against the Jets. How do you like that? We'll overview the Jets in just a moment, but for now, let's see our stats through the first 10 games, or through these 10 games so far, and how the last 4 games added to the point totals. Kuzmenko, 7 goals and 10 points through 10 games. Miller and Reinhart, there you go, 9 points apiece. Same for Quinn Hughes as well. Perron and Hronek both with 8 points. Elias Pettersson with 7. I guess he's technically behind the rest of his line mates, and maybe we want to see more from him, but as long as the team is holding up, Hannafin has 5, Podkolzin has 4, Manson has 4, Besser 4 points, -2, Dano 4 points, -3, Maroon with 2 goals and 3 points, Eller with 3 points, Klimovitz with 3, McNabb 2 points, -3, Ratu, only 1 goal, that big game winner. I want to see so much more from Ratu. Susi, 2 games plus 2, so we'll definitely take that after the -7 of Willander, unfortunately. And goaltending, what can we say? What can be said about this man, Casey DeSmith, on his way to the Data 782 Hall of Fame, 7-2-0 through 9 games in the postseason, .924 save percentage, and 2.54 goals against average. This man is incredible. Let's rest up. We got the sweep done. The Rangers got their sweep done as well. We'll see how long it takes for the Leafs to win their series against the Lightning. If the Lightning can make a series out of it, let's hope that they do so we can rest up as much as possible. Central scouting, and there you go. So it wasn't that much of a rest, unfortunately. We are ready for the Western Conference Final against the Winnipeg Jets, ladies and gentlemen. Over in the East, the Maple Leafs versus the Rangers, an original 6 matchup. Let's take a moment to check out the Jets lineup here. If I'm not mistaken, by the way, I believe making it to at least the conference final in back-to-back seasons makes this the greatest back-to-back results in franchise history for the Vancouver Canucks, as they've never been able to make it as far in back-to-back years. That's what I see when quickly taking a look at the franchise history for the Canucks. I think this is the greatest back-to-back result for the Canucks in franchise history, and it's not over yet. So looking at the Jets lines, we see Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Channel legend Jason Zucker on the top line here. Connor, 8 goals, 6 assists in 9 games, 14 points. 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points for Scheifele through 9 games, and 10 points in 9 games from Jason Zucker. Second line, Ehlers, Lowry, and Mike Hoffman at 36 years of age, 3 points from him. Third line, Kevin Hayes, Gabe Vilardi, and James Van Riemsdyk. Old squad. And even on the fourth line, Yafalo, Perfetti, and Patrick Kane. 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points in 9 games from Patty Kane. So Kane is 37, Hayes 34, JVR 37, Hoffman 36. Some older players on this squad, absolutely, plus just the original core of Connor, Scheifele, Ehlers, Lowry, a lot of other names that are currently here in Winnipeg in the real world. On defense, Josh Morrissey and Neil Pionk, of course. Not a lot has changed on this team. Yoki Haru and Hinola on the second pair, and then Hakanpää and Stetcher, former Canuck Troy Stetcher, on the third pair. Goaltending, of course, the reason why we lost last year. Connor Hellebuyck between the pipes for the Winnipeg Jets, .932 save percentage. Last year, his numbers went down a little bit because they lost the next round, but he was in like the 940s, I believe. 14, 10-1 with 3 shutouts last postseason on their run to the Stanley Cup Final when they lost. .932 save percentage, same as last year. 2.39 goals against average, almost identical numbers from Connor Hellebuyck, who is 8-1. So they won round number 1 and 5, and then they swept round number 2, just like us. We're both coming off of sweeps. We saw each other last season as well. A lot of bad blood here. Last year, we won game 1. We lost game 2. We won game 3. We were up 2 games to 1. Then we lost 3 consecutive games, 3-2, 2-0, and 4-2, as we were eliminated in 6 games by the Jets last year. Thanks to Dan for having the Google Sheet up to date. That link is in the description, as always, if you want to see all the information about our franchise mode so far. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Round 3, game 1, same position as we were in last season, facing Winnipeg once again. They have home ice advantage. They didn't have the craziest year either, 44 wins, 4-6 in their last 10 heading into the postseason, but they have gone on a tear. Hellebuyck moving into postseason mode. Super random, but one thing I just want to quickly say is that we might want to look at an extension for Silovs. I keep forgetting about this, but Silovs is expiring. Maybe we want to look at an extension for him because he wants really cheap. He's down to do 1 year to keep him as an RFA, or we could go even as a on a 2-way deal. So I don't want to cheap it too much. I'll give him a 1-way deal because I think that he's at least our backup next season. And I want to, we could go 8 years, $1 million, and really cheese it, but that's not what we're going to be doing here. I think he's young. I think he just started to prove himself a little bit in the NHL. At the same time, I think we want him to be a part of our future plans. So I'm okay with saying let's go 3 years at $975K. Just about like almost just under 3 years, $3 million. Kind of like a Kochetkov type of thing, but Kochetkov, much higher potential. He's playing a lot more games. Kind of like here's a short-ish type of deal. Definitely cheap money, but prove yourself and you'll be 28, you'll be ready for a big boy contract. So let's see what Silovs thinks about that. Let's not cheap him out then. 3 years, $3 million, $1 million per season to be at least our backup. He's proven himself. I don't think it would make sense that he wants a two-way deal at league minimum. I think he would want to be at least in that NHL conversation. So I'll just throw that out there. So sorry to derail for a moment, but here we go, rolling into round number 3, ladies and gentlemen, the Western Conference Final. The furthest that we've made it in back-to-back seasons in franchise history, if I'm not mistaken. Game 1 on the road at Canada Life Center. Last year we won games 1 and 3, so let's see if we can rewrite history a little bit. Our offense hasn't been crazy. No one's above a point per game, but DeSmith's been solid, and we've been, supporting each other throughout the lineup. So let's hope that the Jets, who seem to have a top-heavy forward core and just a crazy goaltender, hopefully they're running out a little bit of gas, and we have Connor Hellebuyck's number after he stoned us last season and broke our hearts. Game 1, round 3 in Winnipeg. Get ready. First period ends 0-0 after 20 shots, 10-8 for the Jets through that first period of getting to know each other once again. But JT Miller breaks the deadlock. The first goal of the series goes to us. The second period ends 2-0 as Aatu Räty, welcome! Just his second goal of the postseason. Come on, buddy, we want you in the top 6 next year. Aatu Räty extends our lead to 2. Shots 22-19 through 40, and we're up 2-0. Third period, Lars Eller, there he is. That bottom 6 is coming through for us with Räty and Eller. Kyle Connor breaks the shutout. First goal of the night for the Jets. They're down by 2 with about 12 minutes to go now. Shots are even enough. Power play, Vancouver, killed off by the Jets. Past the halfway point now with just 5 minutes to go here in the third period. Up by 2. Will it be enough on the road in Winnipeg? And it looks like it will be, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 victory going to the Canucks. Shots end 33-28, and we take the victory. And you know what? Who got the game-winning goal? Räty again. 2 goals, 2 game winners. Lars Eller, second star, and of course, Casey DeSmith, CDS, 27 saves. We need a name for this guy. First star honors for DeSmith. Ridiculous. 1-0 is the series in our favor now after game 1 last year, and great decision from Silovs as he extends. Very good. Last year we won game 1, lost game 2, won game 3, then went downhill from there. Let's try and reverse that. Let's win both games on the road just like we did against the Oilers, and let's come back home with a great 2-0 series lead in hand and not make it a best of 5, then go down to a best of 3, nail biter game 7. Let's keep it up. We broke through Hellebuyck with 3 goals. That's amazing, but we can't always expect that type of defense from DeSmith and our blue line. That would be great. Let's hope they do. We've got to make sure. Let's try and keep getting 3, even 4. Who knows what? Let's keep breaking through Hellebuyck as much as possible. We know he'll be looking to bounce back tonight. First period, early goal from the Jets, but we come back. Look at that. The Jets score early on the power play, Mark Scheifele, but then Pettersson, Perron, and Reinhart. 3 goals in the next, actually just, 8 seconds later, Pettersson tied it up, and then less than a minute later, Perron put us ahead. Then Reinhart late makes it a 2-goal lead. Shots 15-11 after 20, and we're up by 2. After being down 1-0, now we're up 4-1 as Reinhart adds another 40 seconds in. Morrissey scores on the power play, but we come right back as Perron gets his second as well. 2 from Reinhart, 2 from Perron, and we're up 5-2 after 40. Shots are 29-14, more than double in our favor, and we have a 3-goal lead here. 5 goals on 29 shots past Hellebuyck. Incredible. Let's make it 6. The touchdown's good. Why not? And then, I saw the blue background. I thought it was another one for us. Ehlers makes it a 3-goal game, but the extra point is good, and Josh Manson makes it 7. 7 goals on 37 shots. I believe last year we had one big game against Hellebuyck as well. Then he shut us down after that. So 7-3, that'll be all she wrote here in Winnipeg. Are they getting booed off their own home ice here? Shots end 42-30, a nice 900 save percentage from Casey DeSmith. 3, 2, and 2 are goals from the periods. 2 goals and 2 assists for Reinhart and Perron. A nice 4-apple night from the captain, Quinn Hughes. There you go. Apple a day, buddy. You're good for the next 4 days, and we are headed back home to Vancouver with a 2-0 series lead. Sam Reinhart, who was ready to be relegated to the 4th line. We were ready to just banish him. He has 14 points in 12 games to lead our team at the moment, and we're up 2-0 with that big victory. Outscoring Winnipeg, by the way, 10-4 through those 2 games on the road. I'm just looking back at the archives now. Yeah, it was a 6-3 victory in game number 1. So this time we get a 7-3 victory in game number 2. So we're up 2-0. We're heading back home to Rogers Arena, trying to keep up that same pace. For sure, Hellebuyck's not going to keep being at that level. He's going to tighten up. He's going to do whatever he has to do psychologically to get back into the zone. Let's try and keep one step ahead. First period of game number 3, 2-0 Vancouver early. Kuzmenko and Hanifin, 2 goals on 10 shots past Hellebuyck. Last season, he got us, but we've been studying film all summer, and we're up 2-0 after 20. Second period now, and it's 3-2. The Jets come back. Shifley and Zucker score 2 goals within the first 5 minutes and 15 seconds to tie it up. But then David Perron, look at that. With 2 seconds left, 3 goals in the last 2 games from Perron, and he restores our lead headed into the intermission. That is huge for momentum. Shots are tied at 19, but we're up by 1 headed into the third. Huge, huge, huge goal from Perron. We're talking about psychology and sports psychology. That is monumental. So we're 5 minutes in, we're hanging on. The Jets are pulling away in the shots. They do not want to go down 3-0. They're fighting hard. Power play Winnipeg here, killed off into the final 5 minutes now. The Jets still putting everything they have on net. DeSmith holding on tight. Power play, and we'll add the empty net goal. Perron with another one. We love this man. We love David Perron. On vous aime. On vous aime, mon ami. Shots end 39-27 for Winnipeg, but we hang on for the 4-2 victory. Casey DeSmith, I love you! 37 saves from DeSmith. This is for the record books. This is up there with Philip Lindbergh. This is incredible in channel history. Perron with 2 goals as well, and we win 4-2 to now go up 3-0 on this Jets team. 15 points in 13 games from Perron. Look at this guy. Wow, wow, wow. I have nothing else to say, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to game number 4 here for the potential sweep. The Rangers are up 2-1 over the Maple Leafs right now in the Eastern Conference Final, just keeping note of that. May 18th, 2026. Is this the day we book our ticket back to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time in 15 years since that fateful series back in 2011? Could this be it? Let's not lose focus for a single second. Game 4 at home to punch our ticket to the Stanley Cup Final, and the big dance is waiting for us. First period, 3-0 after 20. Elias Pettersson opens it up. Sam Reinhart a minute and 2 seconds later, and then a short-handed goal by Dano. Short-handed goal from Dano to put us up 3-0. Shots are 13-6, and we are breaking through those Connor Hellebuyck defenses. Power play goal, Kuzmenko. Second period ends 4-0. Shots 28-15. We're up by 4. Do not lose focus for a single second. JT Miller makes it 5. 5 goals on 36 shots. Not even that horrible. Make it 6, but Colson adds in. Ladies and gentlemen, back-to-back sweeps. JVR breaks the shutout, but back-to-back sweeps of the Canadian teams. The Canucks take down the Oilers and then the Jets, and they will punch their ticket through to the Stanley Cup Final. At home in Vancouver, in front of the home fans, 15 years later, and in year 3 of GM Data's mandate, the Vancouver Canucks are off to the Stanley Cup Final with a 4-game sweep of the Winnipeg Jets, who eliminated them and broke their hearts last year in the Western Conference Final. The Canucks get their revenge. They watched non-stop tape, the Hellebuyck's hair coming through his helmet, non-stop tape on Hellebuyck, and they are through. Hughes and Lowry shaking hands there. It's so hard to watch. Even the handshakes are... They're the goaltenders, DeSmith and Hellebuyck. There they are, DeSmith looking good. And here comes Captain Quinn. There's Bill Daly. No thank you. Not touching it. Not touching the Clarence S. Campbell Bowl. Big handshake. Quinn looking good. Look at that, in front of the home fans. Off the Stanley Cup Final, and it feels good. Casey DeSmith, 3rd star honors with 25 saves on 26 shots. Incredible. Shots end 47-26. You can't really blame Hellebuyck for all of those games. He gave them all that he could leading up to that point. The offense did not come through for Winnipeg whatsoever. Stonewalled, or at least in relation to the offense that we were putting up. Stonewalled by Casey DeSmith. It's a 2-2 series over in the Eastern Conference. Could it be another Canadian matchup where it's the Canucks facing the Oilers, the Jets, then the Maple Leafs? We'll see here as the Maple Leafs and the Rangers are tied at 2 and have a best of 3 to figure out. So through 14 games, ladies and gentlemen, Perreault and Reinhart, who had that on their bingo card, leading with 16 points apiece through the first 14 games in the first 3 rounds. JT Miller with 15 points, same for Quinn Hughes. Kuzmenko and Pettersson both with 14 points. Good to see Pettersson back in that point per game conversation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 players who are point per game plus. 10 points from Noah Hannafin. That's surprising. How about that? Hronik with 9 and a plus 15. But Colson has 6. Same for Manson even. Wow. Even Brock Besser picking it up. There you go. Philip Danault, 5 points, -4. Now he's our plus-minus problem. Eller with 3 goals and 4 points. Maroon with 3. McNabb 3. Ratu, Klimovich. And Susie, what's up? 6 games plus 2. We can deal with that. Not too bad. Carson. And Casey DeSmith, give it up for him. 11, 2, and 0. 929 save percentage and 2.35 goals against average. Has he lost since we brought him back? I don't think so, I don't think he's lost since he came back from being benched for that one game. 5-3 loss. Then Silov's got the OT win. Yeah, there you go. So that would be 4. That's 9 consecutive wins for Casey DeSmith and the Canucks. Wow. Goes to show what one game can do, So we're definitely going to take our time to rest now, and we'll get ready for the Stanley Cup Final, either against the New York Rangers or the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm very excited to see who we're going to be up against, but for now, rest up, stay in that mindset, and don't let it go for a second. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that we've been waiting for. The 2026 Stanley Cup Final will be the Vancouver Canucks versus the New York Rangers. Wow, meant to be. If you saw the introductory episode of this series, or if you just know your Vancouver Canucks or just NHL history in general, you would know that the 1994 Stanley Cup Final was the Rangers versus the Canucks as well, and the Rangers won that cup to end their big Stanley Cup drought. This is just the 4th Stanley Cup Final that the Canucks have been to in their, 56-year history now? The first Stanley Cup Final, they lost against the Islanders. Their second, they lost against the Rangers. And their third, they lost against the Bruins, as we know, back in 2011. So here we now are, 32 years later. Back in 1994, the Canucks won game number 1, lost games 2, 3, and 4 to go down 3 games to 1, fought back to win games 5 and 6, but then lost a heartbreaker in game 7 by a score of 3-2 as the Rangers won that Stanley Cup to end their drought. Their 54-year Stanley Cup drought, actually, and they have not won another Stanley Cup since, now 32 years later. What a rematch. It doesn't get more poetic than this. Starting it off at Madison Square Garden, the Rangers and the Canucks in the Stanley Cup Final, meeting once again 32 years later. The Canucks have only been to 1 Stanley Cup Final since. I believe the Rangers have only been to 1 as well, unless they've been to another in this universe. But I believe losing in 2014 was the only other time that they'd been to the Stanley Cup Final. So 2 teams who want it bad. Let's check out the lineup here for the New York Rangers. This is a historical matchup. Oh my goodness. Let's check them out. The Rangers here in 2026. First line, Panarin, Zibanejad, and Mantha. Second line, Kako, Trocheck, and Lafreniere. Third line, Kreider, Heidel, and Stastny. Paul Stastny at 40 years of age. Fourth line, Jonathan Drouin, Sharks legend in NHL 23, Kerfoot, and Barclay Goodrow. On defense, K'Andre Miller and Adam Fox, Trouba and Lindgren, Schneider and Larson. And then between the pipes, it is Brian Elliott. Of course, Brian Elliott. We forgot about Brian Elliott. Show me a nice 931 save percentage. No, okay, 908. All right. Brian Elliott on the season, 39 wins, 904 save percentage. Now in the postseason, 908 save percentage, 2.95 goals against average, 41 years old, 79 overall. Will he carry them? Will he stonewall us? I honestly wouldn't be surprised. Backed up by Dylan Garand. Healthy scratches, Lindstrom, Janssen Fjallby, and Ryan Paling. Wow. Panarin, so 8 goals, 8 assists, 16 points in 17 games. Zibanejad, 18 points with 5 goals, 13 assists. And Mantha, only 8 points. Let's see, 14 points from Lafreniere, 11 points from Trocheck, 15 points from Kako. Interesting. And on defense, Adam Fox, 2 goals and 13 points, plus 11. And so the offense, it looks like they're a well-rounded team. I wouldn't say the goaltending or the defense or the offense really stands out in terms of their point production or their stats, their numbers, but it's a well-rounded team that seems to be a very well-oiled machine as well. Also looking at the playoff trees here, the Rangers took down the Red Wings in 6, then they swept the Flyers and beat the Leafs in a 7-game series to find themselves in the 2026 final here against the Canucks. Wow, I'm so excited for this. I hope that you are as well. Pause, get a snack, enjoy. Here we go. It's the Stanley Cup Final for the first time in our franchise mode series with the Canucks. Year number 3, we've made it. We can call it a success no matter what, but we want Lord Stanley's Cup for the first time in over 50 years as a franchise and in year 3 of our mandate. And it would be especially sweet against the team that took the cup away from us in 1994. Game 1 of the 2026 Stanley Cup Final starts now at Madison Square Garden. Enjoy. First period, the first shot is Patty Maroon! 15 seconds in, Patrick Maroon scores on the first shot of the night. First period ends 2-1. Panarin ties it up, and then Sam Reinhart puts us back up by 1. 2-1 Canucks after 20. All right, second period action now. Everyone's still okay. We're doing all right. Take a breath. Second period, 3-2, goal apiece. Quinn Hughes scores on the power play to extend our lead to 2. But then Jonathan Drouin on that fourth line makes it a 1-goal game once more. Shots are 27-17. We're outshooting the Rangers by 10, and we have 1 goal up on them here at Madison Square Garden. I'm just trying to find my words. Panarin scores on the power play. Power play again for the Rangers, this time killed off. We're all tied up at 3, heading into the second half of the third period. Power play Vancouver now, killed off by the Rangers. We're out shooting them almost by double. Final 5 minutes here. We're all tied up at 3. Will we see overtime in game 1, or do we have a late hero? We're off to overtime. Shots end 41-25 in our favor, but we're all tied up at 3 thanks to Panarin's power play goal, the lone goal of the third period, and we'll get some extra time here in game number 1. There's that Stanley Cup Final patch on the jerseys. Beautiful. At Madison Square Garden, overtime of Game 1 here in the Stanley Cup Final. Next player to score puts his team up 1-0 in this what will likely be a very tight series. Anthony Mantha gets the puck off that pickoff. He's coming back the other way. Tries to put it in the middle, but JT Miller picks it off. Miller back up to Kuzmenko. He's been a hero before. Kuzmenko can't quite cut in. Pettersson, though, gets a shot off, and that's stopped by Brian Elliott. He wants that Stanley Cup at 41 years of age, somehow getting to be a starter again. Big hit there, but Panarin slides through. Oh, the audacity! Artemi Panarin through the legs on the breakaway. But Zibanejad takes a huge hit to get the puck to Panarin, and he tries to put it between the legs. Oh, that huge hit there from Quinn Hughes. It was worth it to make the play there, as Panarin almost ended it with one of the highlights of NHL history, you would think, if that went through. So hopefully we can take advantage of the Rangers being a little bit more tired. Coming off of a 7-game series against the Leafs, we had our sweep. Then Owens that face-off. Hanifin can't get the shot off, as that is blocked right in front of him. 40-year-old Paul Stastny, the 40-year-old Stastny and Elliott. There they are. Here's Hanifin now. Hanifin got it off Stastny. He's going to come back into Ranger territory. Puts it in front to Maroon! Stopped by Elliott. Patty Maroon turning back the clock. Ratu, Dano, that's blocked. Comes to Hanifin. No, Maroon in front. Oh, we got Elliott going both ways. I thought he was going to be going across the crease. Maroon almost had it. Another shot from Patty Maroon that's stopped by Elliott. Hanifin, down to Dano. Can't get the shot off. Ratu, he loves game winners. Big save from Elliott. He can't exit the territory, though. Here's Podkolzin to Soucy at the point. He gets by. Soucy doing it on his own. Oh, my goodness. Big save there from Elliott. Soucy, Perron, David. Can't get a good shot off there as Trouba got a little bit of a piece of it, I think. Here comes Mantha back the other way. Can't get through the neutral zone. Perron strips him, comes back. Away, David, that's in. Shoot in front! Oh, rebound wide open! Oh, sprawling across is Brian Elliott. Lindgren gets it behind the net. He sends it up to Mantha now. Low on energy. Can't get through. Now he does. Mantha with a chance in front. Oh, come on. A weak goal. Oh, a hat trick for Panarin. It's a weak goal. Oh, after all that in overtime. Tough way to go out. Tough way to lose that game. Artemi Panarin game-tying and game-winning goal. Ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. That's too bad. Man, what an effort we had going in overtime as DeSmith got a piece of it. Shots end 51-27. Here we go. Start the voodoo. Get the voodoo machine going for Brian Elliott. He makes 48 saves on 51 shots. And speaking of shots, he has to get his cortisone shot now for his back after that one. Come on. All right, so we lose game 1 by a score of 4-3. That is our first loss in the last 10 games. We're 9-0-1 in our last 10 now. No regulation losses, but not a win either. So we're still on the road to MSG. I don't think we have anything to change. I want to get right back into it. The energy's high. Let's keep it rolling. Tough loss in game 1. Let's tie it up in game 2 and bring it back home with a best of 5. And technically, we would have the chance to start that best of 5 with 2 games at home. That would be advantageous on our part. So here we go. After a tough overtime loss, we rest for a couple days. We come back, and what do we have to show? We're up 1-0. JT Miller, what a monster. 1-0 after 20, scoring with 55 seconds left in the first period. Shots 14-11 in our favor, and we have the lead. Second period now. Wow. Power play goal from Zibanejad. Keandre Miller less than a minute later. Kako less than a minute after that. So 3 goals in under 3 minutes. And the Rangers are up 3-1 with shots 27-24 in their favor. We're down by 2. After opening up the scoring, we now trail by 2. Power play Rangers early. That's killed off. And then Kreider makes it 4. As Silovs is in now for DeSmith, who got pulled. Wow. Sheesh. Couple power plays for Vancouver. Nothing comes from those. Yeah, call it a night. My goodness. Tough game 2. That's our first regulation loss. 9-1-1 in our last 11 games. As the Rangers, hey, add another one just for fun. 5 goals on 37 shots. We get 1 on 38. Brian Elliott, come on! Elliott has what? He's allowed 4 goals on like 100 shots now? Elliott, 37 saves, of course. Why did we even play this series? We know the voodoo's going to get us. We know the voodoo's going to get us. Tough 5-1 loss, though. The loss is one thing. 5-1 loss, that's another. How are the plus minuses looking here? 10, 8, 12, 3, 6, 3, 2, -4, -1, 3, 4, -2. Let's try and get some more scoring here. Maybe Ratu, you haven't been impressing me. Let's go Marunda, no Besser on the third line. And on defense, 19, 16. Oh my goodness, that top pair. 2 and 4, -6 and 0 for McNabb and Soucy. I'd almost want to make a swap like this where Manson comes down. Manson's doing well, though. And that third pair isn't horrible. It's more McNabb's numbers from before with Willander, actually. DeSmith's going to stay in. 921 save percentage. We're going to keep rolling with him. Silovs didn't look great in relief, but, did what he could. DeSmith will continue to hold the crease here. We're down 2-0. We've seen harder adversity before. Game 3 at home. We've been doing very well on home ice here at Rogers Arena. Let's get back in this series. It's going to go 1 game at a time. Gentlemen, did you think this was going to be easy? Did you think this was going to be easy with the omens and the spirits and the ghost of Marc Messier around here? No, most certainly not. Look at this team. Look what we've accomplished so far. And making it to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time in 15 years. Be proud of yourselves. But do not stop. Don't you dare stop yet. Don't you dare stop yet. This is a good squad that's put up good numbers and have had fantastic efforts. A couple games where DeSmith doesn't turn into Dominic Hasek and you're going to fall apart? No, I don't think so. We play together as a team here. When one of us falls down, the other picks him up and gives twice as much effort. At home, in front of the home fans, Game 3. Don't forget that talk I gave you last season about that fan up in Section 307, that young fan with that jersey, sleeping, going to bed tonight with that Canucks jersey, hugging that jersey as that young fan falls asleep and dreams of Stanley Cup victories. Do not let that child down. Game 3, Stanley Cup Final, Rogers Arena. First period, early power play. It's not a power play goal, but an even strength goal as the power play expires for Noah Hanifin. He answers the call in the first shot of the night. 5-on-3, 5-on-4. Oh my goodness, huge penalty kill. And Lars Eller scores right after. 2 goals on 3 shots. They're listening to GM data. We killed 3 penalties and scored 3 goals on 7 shots. And the period. Call it a night. Well, call it a period, I mean. Don't get too ahead of ourselves. Shots end 16-10 for the Rangers, but we're up 3-0 thanks to the second defensive pair, which we didn't change, thank goodness. Hanifin and Manson, and then Lars Eller down that 4th line, now with Ratu next to him. What kind of penalties were we taking here? Look at this. Whoa! We took a major penalty and 2 minor penalties. Okay, all right. Checking. I wonder if Heronic's out of the game here. So a major and then a minor that's during that same penalty to go 5-on-3. So we took 3 penalties in that first period, but we scored 3 goals on 7 shots. We're up 3-0, headed into the second period with a nice lead. But Zibanejad, answers right away on the first shot of the second period. Let's sim through this period. 4-1. Power play goal from Kuzmenko as Garand is now in for Elliott, who was pulled. 4 goals on 20 shots for the Canucks. 1 on 26 past DeSmith so far. We're up by 3. Zibanejad, back-to-back periods of scoring on the first shot of the period as Zibanejad gets a power play goal to open it up. And what's with the penalties? Are you serious? Are you serious? A slashing major? Are you for real? Look at me. Oh, Brock, look at me. Are you for real? We're up by 2. We're on the power play. 13:38 to go. Power play Vancouver, killed off by the Rangers. Power play once again. Another opportunity, but it's a goal for Trocheck as it expires. We're only up by 1 now. Into the final 5 minutes, being outshot by a... What? Ratu! Just his 3rd of the postseason. And that'll be enough to end it. Woo, Atu! There you go. 2 goals from the 4th line tonight. It was a bit closer than I wanted it to be. Shots end 43-31, but we come away with a 5-3 victory, winning a game in the Stanley Cup Final. At least we can say we did that. Hanifin a goal and 2 assists. Kuzmenko with a goal, and Ratu down on that 4th line scores a goal and an assist. That did wonders for him. Thank you very much. All right, so we're back in this series. It is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. It is not over yet. We are down 2-1. We're still at home. We still have the advantage, and we're still going to use it to the best that we can, the best of our ability, to tie this series up at 2 and make it a best of 3. Don't you forget that message I gave you in the locker room. We went out there, we scored 3 goals on 7 shots, 2 goals on 3 shots. I want to see that same effort. Maybe not that same effectiveness. We can't always expect that. But I want that same effort. I want you to rattle Brian Elliott. He had a great season, but the future is now. The future is now. In Vancouver, June 1st, 2026, Game 4 Stanley Cup Final, to tie it up at 2 games apiece, or to go down 3-1. This will be a huge one. Let's see who wants it. First period, who wants it? Rangers score early. Actually, not early, but late in the first period. 1:31 to go in the first, and Mantha got the first of this one. Shots are 13-11 for the Rangers, and we trail 1-0 after 20. Power play Vancouver, killed off by the Rangers. You might want to watch this one a little bit here without simming through the entire period. There we go. Kuzmenko, we killed off a power play from the Rangers. Then we score. Now a power play again for the Rangers. We kill off again. Brian Elliott back in after getting pulled last game. Another power play. Get out of here. Our penalty kill has been doing wonders, but we can't be asking that much. And Kuzmenko scores again. Andrei Kuzmenko scores twice in that second period, from down 1-0 to up 2-1. Shots end 23-22 through 40 minutes, and we lead 2-1. It's a 1-goal lead headed into the third period at home in Vancouver. Can we end it off, add to this lead, and head back to New York with a series tied at 2? Adam Fox scores his first of the series, make it a 2-2 game. Power play Rangers again. Thank goodness we kill it off. Oh my goodness. 5 minutes to go. We're still tied at 2. Shots are pretty not the high shooting affair. Final minute, and we're headed to overtime. Oh my goodness, the penalties. McNabb takes hooking there, and we took hooking, interference. Refs, come on. Shots end 34-28, and we're off to overtime, tied at 2. It's a huge night in Canucks history at Rogers Arena. Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. A goal for Vancouver makes us a 2-2 series and a best of 3 headed back to New York. Here comes Mantha! My goodness. Whoa, DeSmith hangs on. But a goal for the Rangers will put them up 3-1 and be just 1 away from the Stanley Cup. Defensive zone draw. Pettersson wins that back to Hughes. Gets it to the side now, and it's Miller coming up the other wing. Here comes Pettersson across to Kuzmenko. Kuzmenko, he's been the hero. We've said that before. Hughes in front. Oh, Miller just fans on it. And Pettersson's shot is swallowed up by Elliott. Oh, offensive zone draw now. We're winning a lot of faceoffs tonight. Wins it for number 50. JT can't get it through traffic. Here's Kuzmenko back to the point. Hughes with a slap shot. That doesn't get through traffic. Adam Fox walking in. Hold on, it's broken up. Here comes Perron back the other way. Perron into New York territory. He's going to dump that in. Reinhart going after it with Keandre Miller. Reinhart gets in front. Podkolzin on the doorstep. Stoned by Elliott. Offensive zone draw for Reinhart. Trocheck wins it, but Hanifin has it at the point now. But Kakko comes away with it 2-on-1. Kakko with a teammate against Manson. Kakko scores! Capo Kakko keeps, shoots, and ends it. And the Rangers go up 3-1 with an overtime victory. Gloves going through people's bodies. Oh my goodness. See, I'm not going to blame Sam Reinhart there, but that's why we need a centerman with better face-offs sometimes. Manson didn't want to face the other way, just skating with his back to everything. Covers Lafreniere, tries to poke the air. And we go blocker side. Same goal that ended it from Panarin. Blocker side on DeSmith. And the Rangers win another game in overtime to push us to the brink. Shots end 36-30 for the Rangers, but a .933 save percentage night from Brian Elliott. And we go down 3-1. Oh, man, brutal. We've been fighting so hard. We've been fighting so hard. It's not over yet. Madison Square Garden. We know how to win on the road. We won, what, 9 in a row? We got to win 3 more. 3 wins, and the Stanley Cup is ours. A loss, and we pack our bags. 3 consecutive wins starting now. 3 wins, and we are Stanley Cup champions. Do we want to change anything on the brink of elimination for the first time this postseason? Crazy to say. Plus minus is how we look in. That second line, maybe. Okay, but Colson's moving down. I'd almost bring up Maroon. Let's, as much as I spoke against it at the beginning, maybe we bring up Besser to play on the second line. Or do we break up that first line? Maybe JT comes down, but he's leading the team in points. He's been incredible. Is it because he's on that first line? Yeah, pretty much. Perron, Miller, and Besser? I think we have to try. At least we can say we tried. We've been rolling with that first line the entire postseason. They've been carrying. There's nothing wrong with the first line. It's not saying let's try something new just for fun. It's that everybody else, the second, third, and fourth line, they need support. So that helps out the second line. But Colson goes down to the third to play with Dano, with Maroon be a bit more of a hard-nosed line. And the fourth line's been okay. They'll stay as they are. So that'll be our forward, those even strength forwards. 18-14, +4, +5, -5, +2. I think we keep the defense as is as well. And for goaltending, DeSmith is staying in. That's it. That's all I have to say. I have nothing else to say. This is the squad, ladies and gentlemen. These are your teammates. These are your brothers. Fight for them tonight at Madison Square Garden. Game 5 of the 2026 Stanley Cup Final. 3 wins to Lord Stanley. 1 step at a time. Game 5 on the road. The stage is yours. First period power play early. Very good to see. All right. First period is underway here in New York. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. A win for the Rangers gets them their first Stanley Cup since 1994. A win for the Canucks, keep them alive. And that would be 1 down, 2 to go. First period ends. Of course. 24 seconds left, Kreider scores a goal. Shots end tied at 11, and we're down 1-0 after 20. Second period now, K'Andre Miller scores early, and Anthony Mantha makes it 3. Power play killed off. Yeah, just keep taking penalties. That's good. Just keep taking penalties. That's nice. Reinhardt gets 1 back. Yeah, just keep taking those penalties. That's good. Very good. Very, very good. Brian Elliott, man. Brian Elliott. 4 goals on 24 shots against Casey DeSmith. Is it because we changed the first line? Who knows? 1 goal on 17 shots. Who are my culprits? Perron holding. Miller holding. Pettersson hooking. And first period, who are my culprits? None. 3 minor penalties in the second period when we're down 4-0, 3-0, all that. Third period, I leave it up to you, gentlemen. I leave it up to you in the third period. We're down by 3. If you want it, go out and take it. I've told you enough. I've pumped your tires enough. I've given you enough motivational Dr. Phil speeches. You can do it. I believe in you, but at some point, you got to believe in yourself. 4-1, down by 3, third period. Power play early, killed off by the Rangers. We're down by 3 here in the third period. We really can't allow another one. We got to get something going, and soon, into the final few minutes. Power play. Let's hop in here. Let's hop in. I'm not going to show everything because it's going to be 10 minutes. I'm not going to show the whole thing. But if we have a chance to get back in this, it'll probably be inside the sim itself, watching the in-game sim. And starting off in the power play would be a huge boost. Let's see if we can do it. We're down by 3. We've done more in less time before. This is our chance. Offensive zone draw. We're 0 for 2 in the power play tonight with 2 shots. Amazing. Pettersson makes it through. Kuzmenko, come on, get that shot off. Scores! Kuzmenko, close quarters with the X Factor. Wow. fighting his way to the goal. His 13th of the postseason. That's exactly why we hopped in, ladies and gentlemen. Power play goal. We're down by 2 with plenty of time to go. We needed one there. We needed one there. In tight. Weird goal pretty much, but we'll take it. Now, also, I forgot to do what I haven't been doing because we've been doing well enough. I know we lost a couple of games in the in-game sim, but let's make sure that we're definitely shooting that puck. We really got to make sure that the game is not cycle, never shooting. We're in desperation mode. So I guess other times we don't want to do that because it's not always desperation. But now this is desperation. Shoot that puck. Here we go. So keep the lines like that. And we'll try to make sure those biases are towards shoot. Kuzmenko, big goal. Love to see it. And that puts us now within 2. With 9:46 to go, we can do this. Entering New York Ranger territory. Pettersson in the corner. Over to Hughes with some space. Had a wide open lane. And of course, Reinhardt just skate away from the puck as we're trying to set up in the offensive zone. This AI is some of the worst AI in years. I'd rather have NHL 23, NHL 22 AI than the AI in 24. I don't know what changed. Ridiculous. I have to face Manson. Can't get through as he's pushed off the puck. And then, okay, power play coming up as Stastny was too furious about that coverage and takes a tripping penalty. Hanifin, and then they go to touch. The puck is touched. And we'll take a power play now with 7:53 to go as Stastny goes off for tripping. Huge opportunity for us here with 7:53 to go. Offensive zone draw. We're 1 for 3 on the power play thanks to Kuzmenko's goal. When we first entered, we still have a good amount of time, but we can't waste it. Here's Kuzmenko. Hughes gets it at the point, actually. Hughes skates into the corner. One-timer from JT Miller. Big glove save from Brian Elliott. Oh, what a chance. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Pretty much nothing going on here. Can't generate much. Kuzmenko has the puck now, coming down the wing, cuts into the middle, gives it to Pettersson. Miller scores! JT Miller! We have life down by 1 with another power play goal. Another bit of a lucky one there, I have to say, as Kuzmenko gets it to Pettersson. His one-time shot is blocked, and it just falls to JT Miller, who puts it past Brian Elliott. Again, another little lucky one in tight, I have to say, but we will take them any way they come. JT Miller ties this game up. Let's bring the 4th line out. Excuse me, obviously does not tie the game up. Brings us within 1 of tying it up with 6:15 to go in the 3rd period. 2 power play goals have gotten us back in this game from down 4-1 to now down 4-3. It's not over yet. 4th line's out. Eller comes back. Here's Hughes. He's going to circle back. Quinn Hughes, is he going to board pin? No, he gets away from the board pin. Ratu slips by to Eller in front, scores! Danila Klimovich, his 2nd of the postseason! Danila ties this game at 4! From down 4-1 to tying it at 4, his 2nd of the postseason! We have good luck in the in-game sim, it seems like. Not always. We've had some overtime goals go against us, but when we're down and we hop in, we've had some good luck go in our favor. Danila Klimovich, just his 2nd goal of the postseason. Great pass in front. The 4th line was doing well. Oh, timeout now for the Rangers after they give up 3 unanswered. From up 4-1 to now tied at 4. This is a whole different game, ladies and gentlemen, and lots of time left to be played. 6:02 to go. Eller and Ratu getting the assist there. And anyone's game. Anyone's game, it still is. Dump it. There you go. Come on. Get that line change. Oh, and now we're going to have a fight. Great. As Hughes gets hit, stands up right away, no problem. Now we lose JT Miller for 5 minutes. And they lose Trouba at least. So the captain versus the alternate captain. So with 5:22 to go, that takes out JT Miller and Jacob Trouba almost for the rest of regulation. And we get the takedown as well. There you go. Let's get a little momentum going. Come on now. Big fight win from JT Miller. That will restore some energy to the first line. Let's keep out the first line then. Let's just keep pumping out the first line. No penalty on the original hit, I don't believe. Just 5 for fighting on both sides, as Miller didn't like that hit on Hughes, I suppose. So we'll continue like that with full energy back to our first line. Here comes Zibanejad back up the other way, leading the Rangers in points this postseason. Zibanejad to Panarin. Big save in tight from DeSmith. That was a huge save. Defensive zone draw. Danault on the dot here for the 2nd line with Miller being out for that fight. Miller just walking in. Fox at the point. Woohoo! My goodness. Just getting a piece of that. Great save there from DeSmith. There comes Besser up the other way with Perron. Here's Besser in the corner now, looking to make a move. He has a few options. He keeps. Perron, Besser scores! Brock Besser! And the Canucks are up 5-4! What a comeback this has been! What a comeback! Brock Besser from the doghouse to the penthouse! Just his 3rd goal of the postseason! David Perron! Sing me to sleep, David! Ben, garde-moi ça, what a play! Perron from Besser, Perron back to Besser, glove side, getting Elliott to go side to side. From down 4-1 to now leading 5-4. The Canucks have life with what? 4:36 to go in this game. Up by 1, now leading. Assisted from Perron. What an amazing little sequence there from the second line, but we're not done yet. Adam Fox coming in, puts it on net. Good save. Panarin in tight, and he'll score. What a terrible goal. And the Rangers finally answer back. So, down 4-1, they allow 4 unanswered goals, but then Panarin scores his 12th to finally answer and tie this game back up at 5. Just, what are you doing, DeSmith? Why aren't you getting in butterfly, buddy? Oh my goodness, just his body going into the post as he stands up. Great. So, as I said, it's not done yet. Thank goodness we scored that 5th, so now we're tied up at 5. Still a lot of hockey left to go. And Panarin scores his 24th point now. Adam Fox over to Mantha. Now here's the bandage that lets a big slap shot go. DeSmith gets a piece of that with the glove. Doesn't leave the zone, but then Lafreniere kicks it out. Good. And now here's a breakaway chance for Patty Maroon. Partial break. Patty! Little backhand. Glove save Elliott. Kako into Vancouver territory with Trocheck. Hanifin fighting with Lafreniere. Now he gets away in front. Oh my goodness. Sliding across the crease is DeSmith. Make that save. Lafreniere from a short angle is stopped as well. I'm not sure if that was totally on net. Gives it across to Hughes. Now finds an opening for Pettersson. Pettersson sees some space. Kuzmenko! Big save from Elliott. Wow, great sequence there from the first line. Moving that puck well. Now here comes Stastny the other way. 40-year-old Paul Stastny with the puck. Slips by 3 Canucks players. And Kreider, oh my goodness, with a great shot, is stopped by DeSmith. I thought that one was going in for sure. Now here's Stastny again. The Rangers have another opportunity in the corner. Here comes Heidel! Big blocker save from DeSmith. My goodness. Manson, get it out, buddy. Get it out. Oh, wow. Now here comes Fox, of course. Terrible, terrible play in the neutral zone. I call for the line change here. Besser skating up with the puck. Line change is called here. Besser skates up, loses the puck. Why does Hanifin just keep skating? Look at what Hanifin could have been here. How can it be that I can't press the buttons fast enough? Going for the change. Oh my goodness. Where is everybody? We score 4 in a row, and now we allow 2. I need to control the line changes, but also make sure that I have to look into the future, make sure the AI doesn't do anything just against the rules of hockey, against the basic IQ of hockey understanding. It has to be, there's no perfect time to change. There's no time in which all 5 players can say, I can leave the ice. There is no time like that, only face-offs. And now we're down 6-5 with 1:50 to go. There comes Fox the other way. I don't want to pull the goalie just yet. Pulling the goalie really like last resort in EA land. And here's a little 2-on-0 scores. There's a nice block of 3 Canucks players on one guy. Nice view of Hughes skating back, way too late. All started because of that line change. And of course there's no one to blame but myself, right? In EA land, I can only blame myself. The brainless AI can't control anything. So when do I change my lines? They're dead tired, they need to move, I can only do it at face-offs, and there's no face-offs happening. What do I do? Let them stay tired and get scored on that way? Lose-lose. Our fate was written in stone as soon as we saw Brian Elliott. All right! Okay, Philippe Danault. We're not done. We're not done. Merci Philippe. Son troisième, his 3rd of the playoffs. We're down by 1, we're not done yet. Hold on. Hold on. Pull that goalie. Oh, okay. Call that timeout, excuse me. This is what I'm going to do now for the lines, actually. I'm really going to be pumping out the 1st and 2nd line especially. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring up Danault. I need him for the face-offs, and he just scored a big goal as well. Miller's coming back to the 1st line, and then Danault's coming to the 2nd line for the face-offs. Well, it probably won't come... I really want to have just the 1st line, probably. It's just in case the 2nd line needs to take a face-off. I'll keep Besser here, though. So Reinhardt will come out and go 3rd line center. But... Who goes extra attacker now? If we have the first line out, the extra attacker will be, maybe it's Reinhardt? No, you know what, we'll keep it Pettersson in case the second line comes out. And then the second one, which overrides the first one if Pettersson's already on the ice. He's been hot, David Perron. He's been hot. We're going to make him the extra attacker here. Let's do it. Let's do it. We have life. Timeout. We're not done yet. Merci Philippe. He puts us back within one. What a game this has been. What a game this has been. We're not done yet. Just his 7th point. 41.6 seconds to go. 41.6 seconds to go. Timeout taken. Get ready for the pulling of the goalie here. If we can just get the puck into the zone. Larson, just walk in and shoot. Yeah, let the defensive defenseman just walk in and shoot. That's great. Just kill 10 seconds like that. Defensive zone draw. Can we get the puck even out of the zone? All right, here we go. Here we go. Can we just stay inside the zone for 2 seconds? No, not even. Are we even going to get a chance to pull the goalie? Banjad, ooh, 2-on-1's broken up. Whoa, 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 get that out. Here we go. All right, we got to pull him eventually. Let's go. We're pulling him. Here we go. Veronik, skate up, buddy. Wrong way. Wrong way. Here we go. Hughes, 10 seconds. Kuzmenko, come on. Final seconds. Put it on net. Kuzmenko on net. On net, Kuzmenko. Well-deserved Conn Smythe to Zibanejad. Jacob Trouba. As the Rangers once again eliminate the Canucks in the Stanley Cup Final. Shots end 45-38. Who knows what could have happened if not for that line change? Who knows? As we lose in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Final, another 1-goal game dropped. Year number 3, we can definitely call it a success. But that is one of the biggest heartbreaks we've had in a franchise mode in a long time. Playoff tree in the end looks like this. Awards. Rangers win the cup. Devils, Rangers. Wow. President's Trophy went to the Wild. Really? I forgot about that. Jack Hughes wins the Art Ross and the Hart. Quinn Hughes wins the James Norris. The Hughes brothers cleaning up. There's Hughes' first James Norris trophy. First of hopefully many here in our series. Lady Byng to Jack Hughes as well. Calder goes to Michkov and his 50 goals. Conn Smythe to Zibanejad. Vezina to Jesper Wallstedt. Jennings to Wallstedt as well. Masterton to Andrew Peak. Jack Adams to Matheson, the coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. Ryan O'Reilly wins the Ryan O'Reilly Award, the Frank J. Selke. Jack Hughes wins the Ted Lindsay. And Alex Ovechkin wins the Rocket Richard. Lekaramaki won the equivalent of the Rocket Richard down in the AHL. Even Jay, look at Studnicka down in the AHL. Most valuable. Hey, he won like the Conn Smythe in the AHL. Good for you, buddy. Glad to see you thriving. We did all that with the $4.5 million of OEL as well. That's crazy. Columbus jumps 4-1. Chicago drops 1-2. LA drops 2-3. So on and so forth. Retired players here at the end of 2026. Alex Ovechkin, wow, at the age of 40, after he wins a Rocket Richard, he retires with 961 goals, 1,746 points, still an 89 overall. Congrats, Ovi, what a career. Anyone else here? Alex Edler, former Canuck, and even Lars Eller. Former Canuck Alex Edler retires. He was a legend. We had him for one more season with us back in year number 1 of the series. Lars Eller retires. I really enjoyed having him. He was a good pickup. I enjoy the pleasure that I get from making a good depth pickup in a franchise mode series. Lars Eller, 18 points, +9, played his 9 minutes a night, did his penalty kills, did what he had to do. In the postseason, he scored 6 points in 19 games, 4 goals there. Only 9 in 78, but 4 in 19 in the postseason. Lars Eller, all the best in retirement, my friend. As a Canadiens fan and someone who was present for his 4-goal game against the Winnipeg Jets way back when, love me some Lars Eller. Goaltenders retiring here. Anybody? No, just Jonathan Quick at the age of 40. So James Reimer's still sticking around. Retired coaches, no one that we need to be concerned with. Draft interviews, I'm going to go take care of those. All right, back to it. And now here we are at the draft, ladies and gentlemen. So let's wrap it up. Let's look at the point totals through the postseason. Who impressed? Who disappointed? Who are we looking to make moves for here at the postseason? Looking to move into year number 4 with, our heads held as high as they could be. Did JT Miller lose X factors? Am I crazy to think that he may have? I gotta go back in the archives there. But JT Miller led the team with 22 points in 19 games. Take a bow, JT. You did very well. Kuzmenko, 13 goals and 20 points from him. Sam Reinhart, 18 points. Very proud. Pedersen, 18. Hughes, 18 and a plus 19. David Perron, 17 points. As amazing as he was, I still think we trade him. I think this storyline fits a lot more. His value would be as high as it could be. He just had a great postseason, one more year in his deal. If we want to move him before he regresses even more, I think now's the time to do it, as happy as we were with his production. Hanifin, 14 points and a plus 4. That was a surprise. 10 points from Hronik, 7 from Josh Manson. Danault with 7, also a potential candidate to move. Besser, 7, another candidate, -5. But Colson, 6. Ratu, 6. 2 of his 3 were game winners. Patrick Maroon with 5 points. Same for McNabb, but a -9. Disappointing. Susie, 1 assist, -2. Willander had those no points, -7 through 8 games. And of course, the goaltending. Casey DeSmith, 12, 4, and 2, 914 save percentage, and 2.97 goals against average, as Silovs ended with a 915 save percentage. Wasn't the goaltending. It was not the goaltending. But what do we do next season? Do we roll with DeSmith and Silovs again? That will be the question, and a very tough one at that. Oh, and down in the AHL, by the way, we lost in round number 1, as Foodie, Carlson, and Torgerson all scored 4 points in 5 games, which is great, I suppose. And goaltending, Rodrigue had an 876 save percentage. Bien fait, Olivier. By the way, also looking at the Rangers stats, of course, the Zibanejad winning the Conn Smythe with 27 points, but Panarin not far behind with 25 and 13 goals. And now, drum roll, please, the moment we've all been waiting for. 41-year-old Brian Elliott, who didn't retire after winning the Stanley Cup, went out with a 16-6 record, 908 save percentage, and 3.08 goals against average. I'd love to see just his numbers in our series. Brian Elliott, I have no words. I honestly have no words. But one thing I did notice in the slow sim was that our penalty kill did very well. 81 point something percent, right, on the regular season. In the postseason, we went 21.8% on the power play, almost identical to what we did in the regular season. But the penalty kill up at 87.7, very good. So that was a noticeable improvement. I also liked Danault and what he did in the slow sim. I love that he was winning those face-offs. But when it comes to thinking about who's staying and who's going towards the end of this episode, and we got to wrap up our thoughts, we still got to be thinking about Philip Danault especially. I like him in that third line, second penalty kill unit role, but if we need that extra $5.5 million, maybe he's the guy. But just to say, penalty kill, huge plus, and some huge moments in the sim. So now here we are at the draft. Let's try and wrap this one up fairly quickly. Progress reports, draft board, contract extensions, and call it. So what kind of growth or regression did we see from the squad here? So Kuzmenko, overall still the same. I'll only make note of it if the overall changed. Willander's up to an 82. That's finally some good news to see there. I don't think anyone else really changed in their overall, really. I'm not seeing any changes. Hanifin down to an 84. Ratu up to an 84. That's good. But everybody else seems to be the same as I take a quick little glance at everyone. Susie was an 82. Okay, all right. Now in the system, let's see in the system who had big growth this season. Frolov had 24 modifications. They're up to a 59. Brusovitz up to a 75, so that's nice to see. Good growth from him, hopefully in the NHL within a couple of years. Kilovich somehow down to a 77, which is odd. Richie up to a 77. O'Brien up to a 78. That's good. Forsell up to a 72. Johnson up to a 68. That's about it, eh? And the goalies we had seen already. Yeah, nothing. Bobby Stoll up to a 65. Yeah. Okay, so there's the growth through year number 3. Our contract situation now headed into next season. If we look at the all expiring, if you look at the buyout, it's still going to be 4.767, so that does not change. Our salary cap, or our extension dollars, will be $10.428 million. Do we want to look to extend Josh Manson on a 1-year, $4 million type of thing? Are we looking to extend Braden McNabb on a 1-year, $1.75 type of thing? So a couple options there for the defense. defense, Jared Anderson, Dolan, these depth guys, if they want to stick around for another year and be 13th forward / AHL, I'd be interested in most of these guys. Pat Maroon, does he stay for the fourth line? I would hope that he does, maybe another 1 year, $1 million type of thing. Love us some Patty Maroon. Other names, I can just pretty much take care of all those on my own. Goalies, Reimer will walk. I think Rodrigo will probably walk as well. And there's not much to do in terms of re-signing. But in terms of who might be out there for free agency, if we're thinking about potentially moving on from Besser and or Danault, and we look at our forwards here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Take out Perron, take out Danault, take out Besser. That leaves a lot of open spaces here, especially if you go into the system. You say, okay, maybe we're calling up O'Brien. We definitely want to be calling up Lekaramaki, but we still have some spots in the top 9, even if we call up both of those guys. So if we look at the potential pending UFAs out here, looking first at all forwards, we could see Draisaitl, Kopitar, Tuck, Tavares, Kane, Zuccarello, Pajot, Giroux, Bunting, Kubalik, Kovalenko might be out here. Wow. Sharangovich, Tippett, Kempe, Saad, Milano, Mantha, Eberle, Malkin. That's up to the 85 overalls, then 84 and under. A lot of other names that you can see here. If you want to know anything else about any of these players, let me know, but we'll see who drops in free agency. And looking at any defensemen who may be available, Theodore, Trouba winning his cup, Matheson, Ekholm, Manson, like we said, Bean, Leddy, Fowler. Not a lot of great names out there, but if we're thinking about someone for the third pair, maybe someone out here piques your interest. Maybe an Andrew Peak even, no pun intended. And for the goaltenders, we see Carter Hart could be out here, Philip Gustafsson, Bobrovsky, Demko could be back in free agency. But I wouldn't mind taking a run at one of these top guys here, like Hart or Gustafsson, younger guys. Stuart Skinner, I'm not so sure, but I could see a run at Gus or Hart if they drop the free agency and the price is right. Carter Hart this season, 906 save percentage. Gus, 925 in a backup role. Interesting. We had Gustafsson back in NHL 21 with the Senators and loved having him there. Looking at the draft board now, any thoughts you may have on the draft for next episode? We pick at 31. We have our first and our own first and second before we have other teams later on in the draft. So pick 31 and then pick 62. Not really looking at the top guys so much. I gotta say there's a goalie that interests me, but if we're just looking here, no big medium elites that stand out. At 31, here's a goalie here, Kalle Obergauer. I wouldn't mind getting a Swedish goalie he's 5 years away though, but medium elite, which is great. Good numbers in an A+ league. There's this low elite here, Gustavo Kelly, 3 years away, a right-wing sniper. Aside from that, there's some other good goalies too. This guy Yashin from France, that's fun. Medium top 6 right here, Matthias Lindholm. Medium top 4D. This guy is Croatian. That would be great for our Starfleet series. Scrolling down here, no one that really stands out like crazy. Some low top 6s come around here, which is good. Here for next at number 62, we could make a little trade up perhaps. If we look at another goalie who is interesting to me, it would be this guy Muller, or Mueller, however you want to pronounce it, Rainer Muller from the DEL, a German goalie who's also 5 years away, but if he's also medium elite, why not draft him and save the first round pick, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the scouts got this guy uncovered. I'm not sure why. Oscar Janssen, do we take a risk on him? Ooh, 3 bars NHL ready. Do we take a risk on Oscar Janssen? He could be 1 to 3 years away if he's NHL ready 3 bars. Why didn't the scouts get this guy? So that would be very interesting. Maybe we take a chance on Oscar Janssen. Worst case, maybe he's medium starter or something, but maybe that'll be worth the risk. Worst case, maybe we get Rainer later on as well. But maybe we don't go Obergauer if it's a 5-year away medium elite goalie. Those are guys you can get later on. So maybe we pass on him and we use that pick for something else. Anyone outside of the top 5 who's NHL ready? Jan Rositis is 1 year away, medium top 6. Jalen Davidson, also 1 year away, medium top 6. And after Davidson, everyone 3 to 5 years away for the rest of the draft class, except for Preston, 2 years away, but medium top 9 potential, so forget it. But he's 17, so interesting. Must have a high overall. That's odd. So there you go. There are some of the names potentially at the draft. We'll have to actually sort by potential. We'll look for any gems, not just goalies, but any other gems in terms of potential later on. No medium elite, but a few low elites maybe? Yeah, we'll get some low elites out here. Schwartz and Shen. Okay, all right. And then for the medium top 6s, some later on in the draft, some low top 6s as well. Good. All right, not a bad crop of prospects. So there's the board. They're the progress reports, they're the contracts, they're the pending free agents. Anyone who piques your interest in terms of just names that you might think of, what type of player would you want to go after? Are we moving out Perron, Danault, and Besser, all three? Are we really going to make big changes like that after a Stanley Cup Final appearance? I don't know. So a lot of things we got to think about. This was our last episode before the holiday season, as I mentioned, coming out a couple days before Christmas. So I'm going to be taking a holiday break now. I pumped out as much content as I could before the holidays with the Pirates series, the Starfleet series, now the Canucks series. I'll be on break a little bit towards the end of 2023. On New Year's Eve, we'll get the annual wrap-up as always. But in terms of the next Canucks episode, it'll either be sometime during the holidays at the end of December or early January. It'll give me time to relax a little bit, reply to all the comments, read everything you have to say. So make sure, take your time. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. It was a long one. It was a crazy roller coaster. Leave any and all of your thoughts, your highs, your lows, your heartbreaks, where you cried with laughter, tears of joy, whatever it was. Leave it down here in the comments on YouTube. I want to know how you felt about this episode, or do it over in the Discord server, link in the description. And speaking of the description, we also have the Google Sheet from Dan that I mentioned earlier that gives the whole history of the team so far. It won't be updated just yet if you're watching just after this has been uploaded, but it will be updated shortly. So thank you again to Dan for that. Ladies and gentlemen, what a run. Taking down the Ducks, sweeping the Oilers, sweeping the Jets, but then another heartbreak against the Rangers in the Stanley Cup Final. Let's run it back and do it again. Year number 1, round number 1. Year number 2, conference final. Year number 3, Stanley Cup Final. We're doing well. Year number 4, what will happen then? I'm looking forward to hearing your suggestions for how we can get this team to that next level. I think we're just a few moves away. Bring up O'Brien, bring up Lekaramaki. We don't need to make any crazy, big, huge things, I don't think. But if we have some money, if we're able to make some moves by moving out players, going in free agency, that could be a possibility. So leave those thoughts in the comments. Let the other assistant general managers hear your thoughts. And I'm looking forward to doing it again in the next one, ladies and gentlemen. So thanks again for taking the time to watch. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one. This is one of my favorites, although it really broke my heart more than the usual heartbreak. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already, as we're closing in on the end of 2023. All of our ongoing series on NHL 24 and MLB The Show 23. MLB The Show 24 coming out soon enough as well. You won't want to miss out on any of that, and it'll be that much greater of a community with you as a part of it. So I'll stop there. Have yourselves a very Merry Christmas. I'm sending you all the absolute best, and I hope that you all have a very restful end to 2023 and much health in 2024. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.